to the Blaize interview. My name is Blaize, and today I'm interviewing
Patrick Bautista.
Thank you, Patrick. I know, I got you off guard right there as you're getting your drink. So, Patrick, the first joke I always like to ask folks is, how did you get into comedy? Like, when did you first start?
Well, I started doing seriously, like, probably around 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like, actually doing it like a weekly thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I was doing it sporadically for, I don't know when. I mean, like, probably 20 years of just doing it. Like, 10 years doing it sporadically, just once in a while. And then, like, I did it for, like, Committed, where you just go every week and you work at it. Because I didn't know.
Yeah.
I just thought, because when it came to comedy, that you go and you just say what you wrote or what you think of, right?
Yeah.
But you had to kind of work on it with crowd. You had to work at a different situations. You have to do it all and like. So I just kind of like when it, and I don't know if I heard it on a podcast. It's probably I got it in a podcast or something, and it said that you go every week,
every day,
you know, and like my idols, and I've always been a fan like since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like.
Who were some of the people that you like looked up to?
Eddie Murphy was my first,
Yeah.
and then I started going to. It was Eddie Murphy was the first, and then I was going to. I went back, you know, with Fox and.
Yeah, I love Red Fox.
Fox.
Jamie Foxx. Jimmy Foxx has some comedy specials.
Oh shit! Yeah, I had both of them. I bought both of them. The fucking yeah. Sorry.
Go ahead. You're fine. You can curse. We're drinking. Shit.
So yeah, I had both those Jamie Foxx like specials. I think. And he would do act outs, and I remember I loved act outs, and now people don't like them.
I like act outs.
Well, you gotta like.
It's about energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's about the energy. Like, I will say this. Like, I think I would do okay with acting out because I have a high energy volume, and so I think like one of my jokes, I act out playing a white girl. You mean?
Yeah.
And so like I change my whole demeanor is like hey, and then I switch to the white girl and have my white girl voice saying. You know, you shouldn't be doing things like that. Like it's so like, I mean, I feel like, you know, it's a whole physical thing too.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to change your whole physical appearance and stuff.
Yeah, I like it. I like characters. You know why I like characters? Because when I was in acting, I did a lot of improv classes too, and back there was like doing like I was in this acting school where they had a section for improv, and then whenever I did my characters, everybody loved it.
Yes.
So, well, it's not just that. They were fun. They were really like.
What improv classes did you take, or was it your acting class? Was part?
Well, there was part of the acting class. I don't know. I don't want to push any school, but you know.
Well, did you like your schooling, or did you not like your schooling?
I did.
That's good. What school did you go to?
But there was a race and a popularity thing to get to a certain level, and I don't want to push people that didn't put me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That didn't put me in a level where I was. It was like if you got a good headshot, you could get into the high level all of a sudden, and that's why I don't want to push those schools because, you know, I'm not a model or anything. I don't look. Yeah. You know. And so
but you gotta look.
But I was so into the craft of everything. I'm always into the craft of everything. You know, I'm not. I mean, I like the other stuff, but the craft. I feel like you have to have fun with the craft of stuff.
I feel like if you were to get into acting, like you would definitely, because you have such a distinctive face and features. Because you know, I think you would be like one of those guys like Rob Schneider. You know what I mean? He has his kind of thing. He has his stitch, and he has, you know what I mean?
But oh my god!
But he has his physical thing.
His features are good. Like all the people that. That make it have good. Look, I have this like I got hardly a nose.
What about the one guy? The one who's John Belushi? Not John Belushi. John Belushi isn't that pretty, but like the comedy. But the one with the bug eyes. He used to be a firefighter. He was in Quentin Tarantino's all of Quentin Tarantino's movies.
Oh yeah, him.
Yeah, I forget his name. He's ugly.
Yeah. He's casted as the ugly person.
But he's also casted like as a badass sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, you look like if you. Just because of the beanie.
Buscemi.
Something
Buscemi.
Jimmy, you're right. Buscemi. Something like that. I don't remember, but definitely. But like that's fine though. There's a whole bunch of actors like that. You know what I mean?
Buscemi's
like I think you just don't have the confidence in yourself to like really do it that way. I mean, if you really push yourself, I really think you can do it. Because everyone's always looking, especially now in Hollywood. It's all about diversity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The more different you are, the better. It's like, oh, we need this person. I mean, that's why I feel like my process, because I'm kind of ambiguous looking-ish.
Oh, you could be everything.
Yeah.
There's so many characters you could be.
Yeah, especially if I cut my hair and shave my beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely do it. But the thing is, like, I'm just like, I want to be my type, like, you know.
You could be stoner. You could be terror. You could be everything, dude.
That cool best friend.
You could be a genie. You kind of remind me of a genie.
You kind of remind me. Like, you had 3 wishes. Arab. I've been like when I'm in Glendale, people say I look Arab. So I'm like I've been.
You could be Mexican. You could be
I can be everything. Do you remember the first place you did your first set? Do you remember like the first time you went on stage and
there
performed?
you go. I don't want to name any things, but I know. Okay, I'll name something.
Okay.
Okay, it was the first haha.
The first haha. Where's this? Oh fuck! Really?
Yeah, over there, and then yeah, it was haha.
I love haha though.
Yeah.
It's way better than Chateau. Chateau.
Oh shit! I don't want to get into. I know you have beef.
I have beef with Chateau because of Felix.
Yeah.
And I'll say that out loud is because I say that with everyone. And like everyone's like, Blaize, you shouldn't talk about Felix like that. I was like, why are you fucking not?
I think it just you had a bad time. The thing is, they're all of them are all kind of like in the same thing. It's just he probably rubbed you a wrong way one day.
Not just me, man. Not just
Yeah.
me. There's a whole bunch of like, especially the way he treats comics and the way he treats like the people who work for him.
Yeah.
The people he will curse people out, like the wait staff and
What?
the cooks. Like I've heard. People,
I never saw that. Really?
Yeah, I've seen that in
Yeah.
the middle of shows. He'll be doing that. He cursing people instead of being part of the solution. He's part of the problem.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the thing is, like people says like, oh, but has he done anything to anyone you know?
Uh-huh.
And I hate that because why does he have to do something to somebody I know
Right.
for me to do something or say something about it? You know what I mean?
Is it? I can't when it comes to owners.
Yeah.
And the ones that people organize it, they all have that thing, and it's they usually have a certain thing, especially when in the valley.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, I mean cryptic, but it's,
it's not
like
even an answer. It doesn't even answer. It's like, yeah, that's the answer.
Well, the answer is that you gotta. It's kind of like stuff you have to kind of like work with around this, like in doing these. You want to get on their stage. This is the thing. This is why I got into comedy, so I don't have to worry about a cameraman or anything. I could just create on stage, but it's not exactly that. You kind of have to kiss the guy who owns the stage too. You know what I mean?
But that's where every profession, you know what I mean? There's always a hierarchy. It doesn't even matter if you're a contractor, an actor, a comedian, or, you know what I mean, landscaper. I mean, like, there's a hierarchy to everything.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
And the thing is, like, what places do you prefer to perform at? Like, is there any venues that you like?
I like to, you know what I love? Just bars. Just
Bars?
like little, like, hole-in-the-wall bars where there's no one knows. It's like, I just go on those places where it's not, well, I mean, I like doing comedy clubs, but, you have to bend over for shit, and then sometimes you're just not into bending over for the massive.
What are some things that you have to bend over for being a comic? Like, what are those examples? Like, example that comes to mind when you think of that is like bringer shows.
Yeah,
like,
that thing.
So I had a Brie on recently, and she said my show's not a bringer show. It's you have to sell out show. Because
really,
the reason why, because her thought process is if the show doesn't sell out, that means that the club's going to drop us. And that's the attitude she has towards it, because she doesn't want like I could possibly bring 2-3 people. She's like, no, I need you to bring people, because I feel it in the same way kind of is like once you get to a certain level, every show you do is a bringer, isn't it? Because
that's what they say.
Isn't every show a bringer?
Every time I go, all the clubs, the big clubs, they all go. Well, there's always someone there going, all shows are bringers. So I hear someone say that all the time, but yeah, I don't like.
You don't believe that? You don't believe in that?
I used to do them all the time. I did so many before, but I haven't done that. I gotta kind of work my network and stuff, and and I kind of want to. I understand, because I just kind of just. I haven't been working that system right, like with the bringer stuff. I haven't done the bringer stuff for a second because it's nerve wracking.
Mm-hmm.
And I get a fun show when I have my peeps show up.
Yeah.
And they laugh their asses off.
But you're gonna do that so many times.
Yeah, you do one thing and then it's they forget that time.
Yeah.
The fun time that you gave. You know what I mean?
Well, it's not only that, but it's also like it's a lot of money. You know what I mean? It's like let's say you do a show like ha-has, you do store, you do flappers, any of these shows, a ticket's usually anywhere from $15 to $20, top it off, and then most of these places are 2 items at minimum, and the smallest thing you can get there is like a water for $4. So that's like $30 right off the top that these people are spending. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not just that. So it's like off the top, you're forcing people to spend $30 to $40 to see you.
This is the thing. This is why I don't swim in those areas because I don't have money at this time. Right now, I'm like kind of like struggling, so I don't. But then I'll come back and go, oh, I'll bend over for all that shit. But like now, I usually I can't mess around down there because I don't have any money to get people over, to go and
pay for people to be there.
Yeah, well, pretty much I have to go out into the scene, and that's expensive going out into the scene.
Yeah. It is. Because
I have to spend like $20 here, $30 here, and then go to the next bar is another 30 years like out. Mm-hmm. So I just kind of, I slow down for a little bit, but then I get itching to go out. You know?
But there are free mics. Like, what mics do you recommend to comics that are like financially strapped that they can go to? Or mics that you feel like you like to go to?
They switch around.
But
yeah, because you go there and you do your thing, and then you're just like, you gotta just go around. And I want to go far away from Hollywood to do things. That's what I would suggest.
Yeah.
Because I want to do that, but then it takes gas.
It does.
I want to go to San Diego right now and do some shit.
There's a lot of shows out there in San Diego. But like you're saying, it takes gas, you gotta be out there. What I did is, for my birthday a few years ago, is I went out there and I just did like 2 open mics. And I just made some friends, and I ended up making friends with this one guy, Raj, who's also on my podcast. He's also a rapper. He's a really cool guy.
Oh, yeah?
And, he hit me up to do a few shows in Long Beach, because he produced a show in Long Beach.
I want to go out there, dude.
Yeah, there's a lot of good. Long Beach is a lot of great scenes out there.
Because I remember going when I was back in the days. I used to club out there, and they have the Islanders. They have all different type of people. Because the Orange County people there, because that's where they party.
Yeah.
And then it's just like a good scene. I would like to go out there.
Yeah. When it comes to scenes, I like to every scene's so different. Like Los Angeles is so huge. You drive, I always like to say West Hollywood and East LA. They're 2 different scenes. Like you're gonna have 2 different crowds. West Hollywood's a more progressive crowd, where even in East LA it's a little bit more, street is a little bit more urban.
Are you talking about Rudy? Hey, did you do Rudy?
I did Rudy last night. Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah, I love it.
I want to go there.
You got to go back. I love Rudy.
I had to work a little bit.
Nah, I feel that. It's hard because, like you said, like Rudy's a free one,
but it's farther away.
It's in East LA. It's in East. I mean, from here when I left at 5:30. I barely got there at 6:30. You know what I mean?
The Rudy was nice.
Yeah, I like that.
I like the Rudy. If I lived nearby, I'd be going to Rudy's all the time. But I'm struggling right now. But I would want to go to Rudy's. That was fun.
Do you like the slotted mics, like the $5 mics? You think that's a good format?
Yeah, I like them. Yeah, I like them.
Well, no. Is there any
I've been going to one for a while, but I haven't done a slotted mic for a while. But
because you started.
I've been going to Punchline.
Punchline, okay.
I just went once, and it was like a couple weeks ago, and
Third Wheel's always free.
Right, Third Wheel's always free. Oh man, I had really fun on the heckling mic.
How's that?
It was just fun. I liked it. They shitted on me so bad, but I get to do it after.
Yeah,
and it's like that was fun because it's like a community of comics, and then they have like a real audience there, and then we're just like clowning on whoever out there. That was fun because I was just thinking of these things. None of them I could use actually, but it's just like they made me laugh.
Yeah, it made you think.
Yeah, and it made me. I was thinking of stuff. and saying them out loud, and they were making me laugh. Like right now, I still like kind of laugh at that. I like that type of stuff where I could just like now I'm like doing work that I don't want to do, and I could think of a funny time.
Yeah.
And that was a funny time. The heckle mic was funny. Like it was like last week.
Yeah, that's on what day is that?
It was Thursday.
Thursdays, that's right. It's on Thursdays.
Yeah.
But I think it was that. It's like the first time I saw heckle mic was in New York. And
what?
Yeah, it was when I went to New York last September.
The same system. Everyone goes back there and just shit.
Yeah, so I went there. I didn't get a chance to go up that night, but it was funny because it was like I was racist, transphobic, like all the phobes you can think of. It was that, and like it was so great. Like I was telling comics who were in the comic scene, like, hey, I'm thinking of going this one, and every single one of them like, oh. You sure? Like they were all. A lot of them were scared to be there because I'm not sure if Third Wheel's the same way. People are scared to go there.
Yeah, because you have no chance of replying, but until they get up and then you could go. You
can reply a little bit.
You can reply a little bit, but then you're like lost because they don't just have heckles. They have actually heckling noises.
Yeah.
Have you done it?
Not this one here.
Okay, here's it. They don't just have, like, because when they run out of stuff to talk about you by, they also have sound bites.
Okay.
So as soon as you talk, they'll say something. So you're just like, you're out of balance, and then you're just like...
That's good, though. That's good.
Some people had some stuff. Like, I did have... They waited, because I just been quiet, and they waited for my reply, and they said it, and then they, like... And then they just, like, counted.
Yeah. No, it's hard.
But it's fun, because it's giving you material on yourself, because I make fun of myself.
But it also helps you with like roast battles,
right?
Because you've been a few. Have you done the Los Digits roast battles?
Yeah.
How do you feel about doing the roast battles?
I like it. I just, sometimes I don't want to do it because it just gets people mad, and some people get mad all of small, like nothing jokes.
You think so?
They're just mad because they laughed at it, but if they're not even like too offensive or nothing, they just don't like being laughed at a joke that they don't, sometimes that, and then that gets to me because I thought that, oh, you got skills, so you're gonna be friends now. No. Sometimes they all,
I don't know about that. I personally haven't gotten into that. I've seen where someone's gotten mad at like one of the judges.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Ryan. It was Ryan. What's his last name? I can't remember his last name right now. But he was on the interview. We were talking, and he was like, yeah, just fuck the judge, man. He was like, fuck the judge, don't you tell me this and that, like, I'm funnier than you, and I was like, damn, man. Like,
but I really look at the fact, I respect the fact when they have jokes from the front and jokes from the back about the, and they're like, they're on, like, the set, but if they don't have anything to say, and it's like, sometimes I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to fill the space and I'm going to clown on the judges. That's the only thing. But, yeah, that's, I just think that I respect the fact that it's hard job both ways.
Yeah. I mean, how do you feel, what is your mind frame or mindset when it goes into, like, writing a roast? When you're, like...
Writing a roast?
Yeah, because it's different than writing a statement.
Oh, it's always, like... This is what happens. Is like I'll get like 2 jokes out of just the look, and I rarely do the personal stuff. But because I can't find anything that would make me laugh off of personal stuff, but yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing about like. I don't think I'm like the best roaster because I don't like getting too personal because I don't think they're too. I mean, unless I got something that's really funny. But it's rare that I find something funny out of something personal, like a widespread funny. Yeah. Sometimes. But if I did, I would. But usually I just go off of looks.
Yeah, which is kind of half of it. Yeah. I mean, you also did the popcorn roast with.
And I'm not good with. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm not good with. What I'm trying to work on is my my
comebacks.
Comebacks,
Yeah. What I mean? Quick wittiness.
I gotta, because it takes a second for me to like
think.
I got ADD, so I have to fight. You gotta be really, here.
Yeah. How do you feel like being in acting and being in improv beforehand? How did that help you with comedy? Do you feel like it?
It helps with the act outs and the push to do everything because it's partly my feelings. And whenever I was in acting, I was really like I loved the emotional shit. I was like addicted to emotion. And so, but then again, you get blowback when, you know, because it's just a lot of, I was really into like making people cry, and then when I was making people laugh, it was like universal, you know. It is medicinal, you know what I mean? So I feel like
healing.
Yeah. So no matter if I have dark stuff to talk about or nothing, it's all about medicinal. It's gonna I'm trying to make you laugh. I'm not trying to hurt nobody. And that's the one thing about my comedy. Sometimes it does hurt people, but when in my mind I'm going, okay, this is the funniest part of the situation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is the funny stuff is that I see right now, and or what I saw last time, and it made people laugh before. It might not laugh now. Yeah. But you know, my whole thing was just like that. My direction was to make people laugh, you know. And sometimes I have a dark humor that might not make people laugh.
How do you come up how do you feel about like comics who are dark humor? Because my humor is not that dark. I have one or two dark jokes barely, but there's some comics who their whole thing is about dark humor and like, you know, all the bad things that happen. How do you feel about those comics?
Well, it's depending if it's just like you're just venting stuff, so, or are you actually going for the laugh? Because I'm really actually, sometimes, most of the time, no, all the time, I'm just going for the laugh. It's not, because this is my fun time. That time that people let me on stage, that's my fun time. You know, everything else in life sucks right now. Yeah. So that's my fun time. And a lot of times they'll take it a different way, but actually it was just my fun time, and I was hoping that you were going to laugh at the same thing that I was going to laugh at, but you didn't. Yeah. You know, because that stage time, it sounds, sometimes it could get really harsh, but actually it's my fun time. That's my fun time, and then I get to go back to doing life stuff, you know, and I don't, and this is, yeah. Sometimes you have people over there, they're like, you're not on my team, so I hate you, and I'm going to go on the stage and let you know that I don't like your system of life. That's not me. I'm not doing that to push mine is just to make people laugh.
How do you feel like people who use like comedy and like try and say like Dave Chappelle is like harmful and like he's just making jokes? Like
his is so like I can't find anything that was ever. The only thing is that he's in a different time. It's a different. Sometimes some of his stuff is like in a different time. And I understand what he's talking about. So, like, everything he says is just what I'm saying, just to make you laugh. Nothing's to hurt people. It doesn't seem like, in my mind, it doesn't, and where I grew up, that was just, everything was strategically to make you laugh. It wasn't going, oh, okay, this is what I believe in, and you guys got to believe in mine. I'm trying to gather people to think the way I think. They're all structured to make you laugh. That's where I get when I see that, and he's very smart.
Yeah, he's talented. I mean, the way he uses the English language to like communicate a thought is very, you know, powerful. Right. And I feel like he personally, I say with him is like I think people are just trying to push things on him, and he's like, the fuck, bitch? Yeah. Like, he don't give a fuck, and he's just like, that's not even like what I was trying to say, and people are just like, oh, because a lot of folks are easily offended, and they try and make a point. I was at a dark comedy show a few weeks ago, and this dude was talking. He was like a stagehand, and he was talking about this one time where his director was filming this movie starring his daughter, where his daughter has sex scenes, and he's talking about the director's telling the guy to fuck his daughter harder, and the girl's like, "Oh my god, you condone rape." I'm like, it's not like he's condoning rape. He's talking about how awkward this is. A man telling another man to fuck his daughter harder on camera, and the girl's like, "Oh my god, this is so sickening and disgusting," and it was like, that's the fucking point, right? Isn't it make you feel awkward? Right. Like he's trying to relate a message and a feeling in you. Then it's kind of, and that's what he wants you to feel. And isn't comedy at the end of the day making you want to feel something?
Yeah, some people, but you know, they notice that some people are just pushing their agenda on people, and then there's some people it's all for a laugh, and I don't know what are you talking about? What scene are you talking about?
Just like with that scene, it's just like how some folks are, especially if like in West Hollywood, a lot of folks are they want to make a stand and make everything about them, and
Right.
they're like, oh, how could you laugh at that? That's so insensitive. That's fucked up. You can't make jokes of that situation. You know what I mean? Like, I was at a show right after the Uvalde, Texas shooting, and one comic was trying to make school shooting jokes.
Right.
They weren't going over too well, I'll say that. And I was kind of like, ugh. I was even, I was like turning away, just like, ugh.
Yeah, this is the thing. I've been in situations, and I've been, all my life, I've been like, kind of like, well, not all my life, I would say. Whenever like all that school shooting stuff has been happening, I've always fantasized in like, would I have the balls to stop an active shooter? Mm-hmm. But there's so much jokes in there. But like, I mean, I could understand. I would understand someone who would dwell around that.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, but I'm the opposite of like. Well, I'm not the opposite, but like, there's so many jokes there because it's dark, and
But there's humor in tragedy.
Yes, like that. This is the thing that there was that guy Brandon Say. You know who that is?
Sounds familiar.
Well, he's the one that stopped the mass shooting in Monterey Park.
Yes, I remember that. Yes.
Yeah, so there was a mass shooting at one dance place, and then he wanted to go
to another place, and he was about to shoot
another dance place, and then the dude was like 72.
Asian man.
Asian dude. The gun was bigger than him.
Yeah.
I've been fantasizing about stopping a thing. The gun was bigger than that guy. The guy is like a senior citizen and everything. I just took my aunt out. She's like in her 70s too. Mm-hmm. I could take out like if you lined up senior 72-year-olds, I could take about if you just go for the knees.
Yeah.
You just take it. This guy struggled with that big. I made a joke. Like my joke is like, dude, he lucked out, and he got to be the first hero to stop an active shooter, and he lucked out that it was a senior citizen with a gun bigger than him. It's like he's like 5'2".
Yeah.
The other guy was like, I don't know, a little bit like 5'4", 5'6", or something like that.
Yeah, small man.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was like a whole Asian. He was targeting specifically the Asian community. Like,
right.
Those are clubs that he went into.
Well, Monterey Park, where are you gonna find another? What other nationalities in Monterey Park?
That's true.
I grew up around there, so I don't know if I don't have any.
I will say this:
I grew up in Rolling Heights, but I hung out at that Monterey Park a lot for bars
the mall
or something. I remember being there when I was younger.
The thing is, like when I was a kid, because I grew up in Highland Park, Hacienda Heights, and then we moved to Diamond Bar. And the thing I always used to think about is like right after a 60 freeway at Rolling Heights, I used to think that was Chinatown.
Yeah.
Because all I saw was Asian letterings. Couldn't find out it wasn't even Chinese; it was all Korean.
It's like Chinese and Korean over there. I have a thing on that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not so many Japanese. I feel like it's more like Chinese and Koreans. Than, not as many Japanese. I feel more Japanese are closer to LA and like Long Beach than they are like to Diamond Bar, like the IE.
Yeah. See, there was a turn
in the 90s. It was called the Great White Flight. It's when all the white folks left, like the IE, Hacienda Heights, and they moved for the east.
Yeah, and then it became Chinese and Korean over there in Rolling Heights. Mm-hmm. But it was weird. It was a mixture of LA people moving in there.
Yeah.
To get away from the madness, and then it was just
people moving to get in closer, like from Riverside.
Yeah, and then for some reason the Koreans and Chinese just took over, and I love it. I mean, I like being over there, but I haven't been there forever.
Yeah, but you're Filipino, right?
Yeah, yeah, I'm Filipino.
You make it sound so bad.
Well, it's not bad. It's just I'm a mix of stuff. And I'm not an expert on Filipino stuff, and I'm not like a
that's fine
person to look up to or anything like that. What did I tell you?
Mexican,
full Mexican, huh?
Both my parents are Mexico, but I'm born here. So I'm just an anchor baby. So I'm just light skinned because either my great great grandma from my dad's side is from Germany. She came to Mexico to flee the war. We don't know which war.
How old were you when you got here?
I was born here in America. My mom moved here to America when she was 4, and my dad when he was 20. My dad, he moved here 89.
Yeah.
So, and I was born 92. So it was only like 2 years. Actually, like 2 years after he came here, I was born.
Yeah.
Like that's how quick it was. Like he saw mom. He's like, I need a visa. So
what city again?
My parents, they met in like I want to say like the Eagle Rock area, like that Nila. They were like in the Northeast LA area. My mom grew up in Boyle Heights. That's
Eagle Rock, man. I had that was a crazy time. Eagle Rock's crazy.
Eagle Rock's
nice.
Nice.
Filipinos over there.
There's an alright amount of Filipinos, but not too many. I feel like.
Yeah, I remember some crazy people I knew from Eagle Rock.
But Eagle Rock's not even that bad. I mean, Eagle Rock's nice. Eagle Rock's nice. I mean, Highland Park's a little bit more ghetto, but like
Highland Park.
Yeah.
I don't know the streets, but I remember this guy I knew. He had like a bamboo stick, and he would rob people with the bamboo stick.
Yeah.
He had like these 2 bamboo sticks, and he'll jump out of bushes and rob people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
And rob people?
Rob people with bamboo. Like I guess he was an expert at bamboo. That's what he told me. He was a tweaker that I knew when I grew up. His name was Creeper. He was a Filipino guy.
His name's Creeper. Yeah, he probably is a pedophile. That's why they called him Creeper, because he was probably a pedophile.
Yeah, his name was Creeper, and he had like a hot girlfriend. But I remember he had like these 2 bamboo sticks, and he said that he would just jump out of bushes and rob people in Eagle Rock. And he was a big time tweaker, but he was the nicest tweaker. Like, you don't think...
First off, he's robbing people. How nice of a motherfucker you are if you were robbing people?
Well, whenever I visited him, he was nice, and his girlfriend was hot.
Relatively, I don't know. Her boyfriend's a tweaker.
But his friends were assholes. One of his friends his friend was an asshole. But I remember he used to rob people with bamboo sticks. But I always wondered what happened to that guy. I remember I go out. He was a big Wu-Tang fan, and we just listened to Wu-Tang.
Okay.
And he was just interesting person.
You don't say.
Yeah, Eagle Rock were some crazy people though. Like his friends were crazy as hell.
I mean, all of LA's crazy, man.
Yeah, you will find you can find crazy people in the nice areas.
Yeah, everywhere. I mean, even now with all the homeless, even more homeless than when we were kids.
Yeah.
I mean, homeless people have been in LA forever, but not like how they are now.
I remember when I was a kid, I was skateboarding with a guy, and then one day he shot a cop.
What the fuck?
He had a backpack, and I guess he had drugs in it, and he was a skater, and the cop stopped him, and he ended up pulling out a gun and shooting the cop.
Yeah.
Rolling Heights. It's not even a big deal, it's Rolling Heights. I remember there's some
There's some gangs out there though. I know there's a few like Asian gangs out there in Rolling Heights. Yeah.
Rolling Heights is just a weird area because it's a mixture of Orange County, but then it's a mixture, but it's like a Pomona mix.
It's IE. It's in the Empire. Like in the Empire is like its own area. You know what I mean? Yeah. I was at one of my jokes I started out with was like, I'm from the Empire, the IE, because ladies, I'll make you say IE. Yeah, see way. Yeah.
Do you got it like that? Or what?
Yes, sir. My hips don't lie. Shit. But my words do.
How many ladies do you got lined up?
Not enough. Never enough. It's never enough ladies. Like, I love women. Like, a problem with me is, the men in my family is we love women. We just love women.
Your posture right now, you're just...
I'm just saying, I love
really?
I love women. Like I love talking to women more. Like I like.
Where is your hunting ground when you find your
dating apps?
What app?
I'm on all the apps, but the main one the ones I work on best is Hinge. Hinge is the best one for me personally.
For real, I don't know. Do you put money down when they ask for money?
No, never.
Never.
I've never put money. I spent money on whores, but never money on any dating apps.
What's your pick that you show them that is the seller?
What is my pickup line?
No, your picture, your profile picture.
I have a few of them.
That too, but what profile picture do you?
I have a few. I have one of me snowboarding. I have one of me in hiking. I have one of me just like a headshot.
Oh yeah.
And I have one of my dog.
So that why the snowboard? Oh, because you do fun stuff.
Yeah, some cool. You know what I mean? Hiking and snowboarding, like
gotta have the dog.
Yeah, dog. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
What kind of dog is it? It's a badass dog.
It's a junkyard dog. I don't know. She's just born on the streets.
For real? Where'd you get it?
Pomona, from the streets of Pomona.
Hey, if you ever run into a dog, like someone's like giving out dogs, put mine in. I want a dog so bad, but I want like a bright dog. I don't want like a dog that I was gonna say.
You're about to say a retarded dog.
I don't want a dog that has ticks. That's like, I'm a.
Bro, I'm from fucking Diamond Bar. I have friends in Riverside. You know how many people I know? I can pull up my phone and talk to 4 people and get you 5 different breeds of dogs.
Oh hell yeah!
Like we out here, we ghetto popular.
I want a cute, like cool dog.
One of my homegirls been trying to get rid of dogs for months. Like, she's still puppies. They're like 4 or 5 months right now.
What's the best thing about your dog?
My dog, she don't bark. She quiet as fuck.
True. And she's right here.
Yeah, she's over there.
She doesn't bark.
She don't bark for shit. That's why I'm like, when everyone's like, she don't bark, she don't do nothing, she just chill. She just sits right there.
That's awesome, man.
But the only bad part about her is she's a jealous dog, and so like it's hard for me to take her to the dog park because she doesn't play with other dogs. She'll just stand right next to me and wait for us to leave.
I'm good with that. I could deal with that. Don't fuck talk about. Just be nice to me and keep it quiet. Like, I can't believe the dog's right here. It hasn't barked once.
No, she's chill. She's chill. She don't bark.
Unless
she
can bark. Stowed or something.
She can't bark, actually, because she has a thin vocal cord. So, like, even when she goes to have surgery, they have to get, like, an extra small one just so they can put it down her throat.
I love dogs. When I see people walking with their dog, I always kind of, like, stop and I'm like, please, can I pet it? Because it's very therapeutic for me.
There's what was it said? I forget who said it, but one of the comics said, LA is crazy because people say hi to your dogs before they won't even acknowledge your existence.
Yeah, I get it creepy. I go like, I'll stop and I'm like, I gotta figure out what's my line where I'm gonna ask you to let me pet your dog because it's gonna help me today. Mm-hmm. If I pet that dog, it's gonna help me.
It's also who you're asking because like
some people get pissed.
Yeah, like no.
Once in a while, somebody go like, "Woo!" You know, like
it's a white woman.
Especially when the yeah. Well, I'm not gonna say that, but like during the lockdown time, I remember I was like, "Oh, stuff is stress. I gotta pet your dog." You know, I'm so stressed about like how things are happening.
Yeah, that's the line you say right before you steal someone's dog. Yeah. That's like, "Oh, I'm so stressed," and then you unleash them and you take them off.
Yeah, because it would help my day if I could just pet your dog for a second.
When's the last time you owned your own dog?
Well, I mean, it was too long. It was like when it was
family dog.
Family dog, you know. Okay. It was always been family dog. Never had my own because I don't want. I've seen when dogs go wrong when you buy it from whoever.
No, whatever. But like with dog owners, it's about the owner. You know what I mean? It's not about the dog. You know, if the an owner can break a bad dog. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because like even Caesar Malone, like motherfucker dog whisperer, you guys just like beat the fuck out the motherfucker. They'll learn. Like even with Lucy, like she's you know when she acts up, I go, hey, I mean I gotta get put that fear in her eyes. But like you know what I mean?
How you put the fear?
Oh, I take her to China Walk.
China Walk.
Yeah, I take her to China Walk. I pick her up. I make her stare at the orange chicken. I say, bitch, you fuck up. I'm gonna leave you right here.
This was a setup for a joke,
dude. You heard that? No, but I said that. That's one of my jokes, but it's true. It's true as fuck.
You know, the whole thing was set up for a joke. I'm telling you my feelings over these dogs.
It's not good. I can joke about it. No, I love dogs too. Like I've had dogs in and out of my life, all my life. You know, most of my dogs have been family dogs. Lucy's the first dog that's my dog, kind of. You know what I mean? But she was actually, like I said, she was born 5 years ago on New Year's at my parents' shop in Pomona. So she was born at the junkyard. You know what I mean?
That dog's 5 years?
Okay, yeah, she's 5.
Wow.
Yeah, she's thick though. You see her? She got a big old chest. I always tell people, you know, she's a real Mexican dog because she got a big chest and little arms.
How much you bench?
More than you. It benches you, man. It benches your weight.
Dude, he looks like a young dog.
Yeah.
He's floppity flop still. Like, you know how dogs are kind of floppity?
Yeah, but she's still, I mean, 5's not old. I mean, I say dogs.
Like people years?
I mean, that's like 30 in people years.
Yeah, that's old.
Or let's see, 5 times 7, right?
You don't even
35.
know
She's like 35.
Kind of dog
it's a dog, bitch. The fuck I care what kind of dog it is, man. It's like when I fuck girls. It's like, oh, you fuck those type of girls? Yeah, motherfucker. You don't? Shit.
Okay, what was your best hot girl story?
Best hot girl story? That's different, man. That's different. I mean, there's different types. I mean, like, there's one time in Las Vegas, I wasn't even trying to hit up this girl. Like, she was a beautiful woman, stunning. And like I was there with my homeboys, and I see like we're just there, some bar, and I see her, and I see this group of ladies like in their like 30s and 40s, right? They're like going, wow, man, they're on stage dancing, and I go up to this one girl, I was like, hey, you know, this is their first time in Vegas, and she laughed, and I just and I was
The
and I just
wounded fond.
huh?
You went with the drunkest one, huh?
Nah, she wasn't even that drunk. She was sober. She was it was just some random girl. Like she was just standing right next to me, and I just went like ba 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 ba, and I just told her a few jokes, and then I was like, "Oh, pleasure to meet you," and I just walked away, and then she came up talking to me. We started dancing a little bit, and I was like, "Oh, you want a drink?" She's like, "Yeah, I want drinks." We drank a little bit, and I was like, "Oh, you want to get out of here?"
Did you have a good wingman?
I didn't need one.
You didn't have a wingman. You were on your own.
No, I was with my homies, but I just went up to her by myself.
Ever watch those nature things where the lions hunting whatever the elk or whatever, and one's pushing it this way, and then the wingman this is the wingman pushing the dog, and then the lion ambushes the elk.
I haven't really, honestly, I never really get help from other dudes picking up girls.
I know, especially these days. No one does
like
it.
that.
No one does it. You don't see the guy that's like scaring, and then you don't have that wingman that does that. You have it's not that's never done anymore. Now it's like you're on your own.
I think it depends on the friends you have and the situations you are in. Like I've been in situations like I've helped like. I'll be like, oh, what's your name? Blah, blah, blah. Hey, blah, blah. Oh, this is my friend. Blah, blah, blah. And then we're just talking. I was like, excuse me, I can go over here real quick, and then you just leave. You know what I mean? I've done situations like that at parties and shit like that in college and at the bars. Like, there's been situations where I've done that, and people was like trying to introduce me to people, but like a lot of it's
SpongeBob. Sorry, man.
No, you're good. Yeah, I got SpongeBob here, and I got like flamingos on top.
You're not a fan of Patrick?
That's why
you
I got
the SpongeBob. You got no Patrick.
My mom got me those.
Patrick's the shit.
Hey, I wonder why.
I wanna get a SpongeBob. I saw SpongeBob socks that I wanted to get.
Were they Patrick socks?
Yeah, they were Patrick with the stars. Patrick.
You look like the motherfucker. If I go over to your house right now, you'd have like a whole like bedspread full of Patrick Star shit.
No, I mostly Rick and Morty. I have like Rick and Morty socks, but I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get the Patrick.
I don't really care too much for Rick and Morty. It's cool. It's a fun show, but I hate how people are like, "Oh my god, it's the funniest shit ever." Like,
well, there was one episode that I just fell in love with when they had improv. It was called improv commercials. There was, I think it was first season episode 9, and there was I think somewhere around there, episode 9 or 7 or whatever, and I thought it was hilarious because they were doing like commercials, but they're improving the commercial. So there's like things that are coming out of their head, and then I don't know. It was hilarious. It was funny as hell. You don't know what I'm talking about.
I remember. Yeah.
Remember the gopher buttholes?
Yeah.
And they had the gopher coming out of the buttholes.
Yeah.
And they're doing handstands. And
yeah.
It was funny because it was the upside down world, but also they're improving the commercials. It was so because I'm horrible sometimes, but sometimes I could be horrible with improv. How are you on like when it comes to like audience work? I gotta
crowd work.
I'm very impressed when someone does really good.
I feel like I did good with it. I feel like I could do better sometimes. But the thing is, like with crowd work, it's you're handing them the knife. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the way I like to put it is, you hand them the knife, and they're what you're trying to do is you're trying to get the knife and stab them back before they can lunge at you. You know what I mean?
Who gave you that analogy?
I made that up myself.
That's cool.
It's like giving people the knife. You give them the knife, and you gotta take it back and stab them before they can stab you.
That's awesome, man.
I
never thought about that.
Yeah, I mean it's a combat sport. Like I was talking to Mike Sasson a few weeks ago, and like what we're talking about was about he was a college football player, and he said comedy was the closest thing to football that he outside of football in his life, because it's a contact sport. It's really aggressive. I mean, you gotta be up there. You gotta go out there. You gotta do the reps. You know what I mean? Like, there's everything about comedy's contact. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's about like being able to touch someone without touching them. So like one of my favorite comics, who's totally different than me, is Jimmy Drexler. Like Jimmy, he's a great comic. He does a lot of dark humor, a lot of like off the wall humor. Like his cadence, like ba 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 ba. Blah, 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 blah. And it kills. It's hilarious. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I love it. Like his cadence, like he's not like over the top. He's like very in control. Like he uses pauses to his advantage. Like he'll pause a long time in between jokes and let you sit in it. Which I feel like a lot of comics have struggled in, is sitting in silence. And what I found is the lot more older comics, what they say is it's more empowering when you stop for a second and you hear nothing.
See, that's another thing with the open mics.
Mm-hmm.
You only give a couple minutes, and you can't be that type that could hold on those minutes.
It's hard, but the thing is, the most shows you do.
I feel I learned the most when I had to 30 minutes
Mm-hmm.
at a bar once. That was when I learned the most of my jokes, because you learn your jokes because you're wondering, you could figure them out when you.
But let's be honest, 90% of what you're doing is going to be at most 8 to 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Most places that you do at this level, even if you do like the Comedy Store, if you do Laugh Factory, they're giving you 5, 10 minutes max. So I mean, like, I get you what you're saying, where like, 30 minutes you can work everything out, but like in 5 minutes, I've seen comics in 5 minutes tear a room up, and like even with, if a comic's gone up there and they said nothing for 30 seconds, had the room already on the edge of their seats. What the fuck's going on? You know what I mean? And it's like embracing the pause and waiting for collecting people's attention. You know, there's at times.
There's times. I'm just saying when someone gives you about a long time to fuck around, to mess around, you'd be like, you could learn a lot that way. But then you could learn anytime. But I'm just saying, sometimes you have a good moment, you know. Sometimes you don't.
What would you feel is like the prime amount of time for a comic to do? Like, this is the minimum amount of time that like they can do, and they're gonna kill no matter what. Do you feel like it's a certain time limit? Like, do you feel like you feel best?
Depending on whose material it is. My material is different than other people's.
That's fair. Well, what would you feel is yours then?
Amount of time to kill?
Yeah.
It's depending on people who didn't hear my shit before, and it is depending on the crowd, I guess.
Because like I said, there's crowds everywhere. Different crowds here, different crowds there. I mean, what are different cities that you performed in?
That's the thing. I've been staying in LA a lot, and I want to go to San Diego, but I've been staying in LA most of the time. And North Hollywood's mostly where I stick around, and then I'll go to Hollywood once in a while, to do like Third Wheel or whatever. But I don't know. I feel, I'm a wave of emotions.
Yeah.
I like this, and then I don't like it no more. I like this, I don't like it anymore. If there's too much like negativity, I have to like slow down in that area, because I have to think about myself. You know, I gotta be, because I just want to have. Whenever this is my fun time. You know, things like regular lifetime especially right now with me, is pretty rough. So I go for just fun. And people take it a different way, and then if it's just a constant time, if I go somewhere where it's constant, where it's just, they're going to take everything like, we're just going to try to take you down, or there's always this thing, and I'm just like, I'm just trying to have fun, you know?
What places do you feel like do that?
I don't know. I don't know. I always run into that every now and then. A lot of these open mics, I get into that, and then I'll take some time off, because I feel like it's not. I'm just here to have fun, and there's no competition. Especially, how many fucking my genre gets in your way. But I feel like I'm getting away sometimes when there's this competition thing.
But what is your genre?
I don't know. I'm just trying to laugh. I don't know what my genre is. I'm still kind of like, I'm just trying to make people laugh, and these are the things that make me laugh. And if it's like, if there's people like, because sometimes I feel, I know it's not really that way, but when I see other comics, I feel like it's a Conrad. But sometimes it usually a lot of times you go to certain places and they're thinking you as like competition, and don't listen to this guy. I just trying to look for what the funny is in a in
your situation.
Yeah, my situation. A lot of them, it's like making fun of myself, so I don't know why that. It's also, but I don't know. A lot of times I feel jokes are more making fun of me, but then they think I'm making fun of
something else.
Yeah, because my life is. I'm making fun of, most of the time I'm just making fun of my life.
Yeah.
Like how most of the time is how dumb and how I react to life stuff.
Do you feel like like there's not a good community of like comics? Like,
No, I'm just saying if I'm in an area where I feel like the community's wrong, like not fit, like.
well, because you keep saying these places. What are good places to go to? Because you haven't really named any places you'd like to go to. Is I'm trying to say, what are the good places then? You know what I mean? Like
I'm not an expert on that.
That's not. No, what is your expert?
I wouldn't know.
What are places you like to go to? Like Rudy's, you like Rudy's?
Yeah,
Third
well, I've only
Rail?
been there once, so it's been good at Rudy's. I like that stuff. Like, I like it when they're like, oh, they're welcoming because they need people to come over. And that was a nice venue. It was a nice...
It was a good spot.
Good spot. It was like, it had a nice spot and everything.
Great bartender.
They had the regulars on the other side, but then they had the comics on one side. But, you know, if that place was filled up, I think it'd be fun as hell. Mm-hmm. You know, because the owner was nice. Mm-hmm. When I walked by, she seemed like she had a fun time during my set. Like, so I like that. But, yeah, and it was a little bit of danger, wasn't it, in East LA?
It's not that bad. It's
that
on
place,
Pomona Boulevard. It's not that bad.
But that was a nice bar for a place that's in East LA.
East LA is not that gangster anymore. Like, LA's not as gangster as it used to be.
Yeah, I rarely go there, so I don't know what's the nice places anymore. I remember East LA used to be the...
Used to be.
But that place was nice.
It's not the 70s and the 80s anymore.
Yeah.
Like, even the 90s, it was bad. Like, when the 90s was when they were really stopping down. Like, in the 80s, like, there was, like, fucking tanks in Compton and East LA. There was tanks coming down the streets. Yeah. I mean, like, we had a little...
Did you get that from the movie?
No. I got it through, like, my mom would tell me stories.
NWA?
Not even that. Like, my mom would tell me stories of, like, she would see like, tanks would come down. Like, people... Like, you ever knew who the drug houses were? You mean? Everyone know if you're living in a neighborhood like
I had a girlfriend that lived in East LA. It was part of that when I went over to Rudy. I talked about that.
Did you? I don't know.
Yeah, I did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my girlfriend lived in there, and I went over. I remember she had one apartment
and you
had like 5 people living in an apartment that had a 1-bedroom apartment. It was like a 1-bedroom apartment with like 5 or 6 people living in it. Yeah. And I remember we staying in there, and I remember late at night I was hearing gunshots, all pop, 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 pop. And I was like, that was guns. And she's trying to tell me it was fireworks. And I'm like, no, that was guns right there. And she's trying to comfort me. And I'm like, and I remember her dad was from Hazard Grande, and her uncle was from Boyle Heights. Okay. And they would do knife fights when they had family gatherings. They would fight over because they hated each other. and then she told me that, and then I end up showing up over there, and I think when I was at Rudy's, I talked about it. Like I was over there. Me and her were getting intimate in her room, and her uncle from Boyle Heights
pulled up,
and I was hiding in the closet, and I'm like looking through the crack, and he's just sitting there staring at me through the crack of the closet, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm dead. That was a scary time, and he was just like, he was cool with it. He was just like,
he was just doing it to fuck with you.
Yeah, he was just doing it to fuck with me. He didn't do anything. But it was scary, the stories that she told me that brother would, when he'd come over, and if the dad comes over.
My mom would tell me stories as a kid. It was like, you don't go to these areas because this shit's going to happen. She tell me areas of like people getting hung, people getting shot, people getting dragged. She tell me stories of like people would be dragged out of their house. People would be dragged out of their house, bloody.
Where? City?
East LA.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Your mom knows about East LA?
She grew up in East LA.
Oh, really?
She grew up in Boyle Heights, East LA.
Oh, shit.
She grew up all around. She grew up right off Soto Street.
Oh, okay.
Right there, right across around the other side of the 10 freeway from the USC Medical Center.
Yeah, is that the okay? So yeah, my girlfriend at the time, she lived at right down the street from. They made a movie out of it. The hospital, General Hospital.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Right, it's right there, right? Isn't that General Hospital?
It's I don't remember what it's called, but I know what you're talking about. The big one, yeah. It's abandoned now. It's been abandoned for like decades. Really? Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I remember walking down the street, and there's some crazy people over there. I remember it felt like it. You know what it reminds me? There was an old lady, 3:00 in the morning, watering her plants, and she looked like. Did you ever watch that one with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Which one?
Where he's like a crazy person. He goes on an island.
Shutter Island.
Shutter Island. Remember the lady that the hair? She had like these little hair plugs coming out of her hair, and she's like sitting there and she's smiling like that.
I don't remember it.
It's
no.
at the beginning of the movie, but she's creepy as fuck. That's what I saw at East LA one time. With some lady. She had like hardly any hair, and she's just like sitting there 3 o'clock in the morning, like. Oh, that was the creepiest thing. I don't know. And she was a white lady, but I don't know. But yeah, East LA always I always thought that was the scariest place to go, and yeah. I did it for real. That was my high school girlfriend.
Yeah.
Was like this.
When you were living in Rolling Heights? How the fuck you meet a girl in East LA from Rolling Heights?
Okay. It's a trippy story. Okay, so my girlfriend was this goth girl that lived, like, I guess like these. This is a trippy story because she was living with a Mormon family, or this white Mormon family.
Nice. And
she was like taken in, and I never knew why she was taken in, and then I started hooking up with her, and then. She ended up like this was weird. I don't know how she talked me into it. She used to talk me into everything. She was this goth girl, and she used to like I let her drive my mom's car
without a license.
Yeah, and we ran into my mom's car, and my mom came like she had 2 cars. My mom had 2 cars. She had like both of them were crappy, and she ran one car into the other one, and it's like.
Was she drunk?
No, we're kids trying to figure. I mean, we're high school. We're like high school senior. We're high school seniors, but like somehow she ended up running into my mom's car, and then my mom, instead of like getting mad, she ended up living with us. The girlfriend.
That's funny.
Yeah,
that's funny.
It's a trip. She ended up living with us. It was like my, but she was like the downest girlfriend. Like we used to. I used to live in this apartment near.
She sounds like a thick goth chick.
She was down for her shit. She was like Chola goth.
Oh shit! Was she the ones that had like the tatted eyebrows and shit?
Yeah, she had all that.
She had big old lips.
I don't know. She had Mexican lips. She had like, but she had the written down. Like she had them.
How many tattoos does she have?
She didn't have tattoos.
Yeah.
I bet she's all tatted now. But
hey, you haven't seen her since you broke up?
Yeah, we were with each other for like about a year, and yeah. Sure, her parents, like the both her parents were heroin addicts.
Yeah,
heroin addicts.
That's probably why she was living with the Mormons.
Yeah, I slowly. When you're in high school, you don't investigate.
You're like, okay.
Well, I don't know about you, but I didn't. I was just like, oh yeah, she was hot and she had a badass body and she's cute and she liked all this stuff. We used to throw water balloons. Like we used to go on top of my roof and throw water balloons at cops because I lived behind a 7-Eleven.
I remember you telling me.
Yeah. So we used to get on top of the roof and throw water balloons at...
Bro, that's just asking to be shot.
Yeah, well, I don't know. In kids, I thought, this is funny. Water balloons, what does water do? So they came out, the whole police force showed up at that 7-Eleven and came out with their guns drawn and just going towards our apartment. We were scared as hell.
Yeah.
But they never knocked on our door. Or I don't think they did. But I remember we were looking through the crack... We're so scared, just like thinking they could see it. It was like we're seeing that, and we're seeing all these cops with the guns drawn. Mm-hmm. Back in the days, they didn't have to have a reason to bring a gun out. They brought a gun out for water balloons. Yeah. The water balloon bandit, let's get them. It's like they didn't. It was a crazy time right there, but I thought that was like...
It was you graduated 95, so it was after the 92 riots.
Yeah.
So that's right. Times, dude. It was after the riots too, so like they weren't fucking around back then.
Yeah, they were crazy. They were crazy back then. They were insane. Like almost anything they pull you out and strip your car.
Yeah.
Like I got pulled over and they strip your car for any reason. That's different. It's such a different time. The 90s is a different time. They pull you over for anything.
Yeah.
And they pull their guns out for anything back in the days. Now they have to have like reasoning, and they have cameras now, cameras on their shoulders,
the chest cameras, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it was a crazy time.
It is what it is. I mean, like it's just different. But
your mom was gangster, huh?
Nah, I don't even know. You don't even know my dad was a gangster. My whole family was like, I have family in Mexico, like. Shit, my mom has 7 brothers and sisters. My dad has 11. So you know what I mean?
Goddamn.
Yeah, so we Mexicans. So like we have a lot of cousins. I mean, each of my aunts and uncles have 4 kids minimum. Uh-huh. So it's kind of like one of those things like when you have so many people in a family, like so many people do good and so many people do bad. So there's a medium. You know what I mean?
Right.
Most of the family's in the middle. Most of my family is good people, got good jobs. You know,
Right.
not not everyone in my family's a millionaire and a billionaire. You know, everyone's like one or two. You know what I mean? And then there's a few gangbangers in there. You know what I mean? There's like 3 or 4. You know what I mean? So it's like it's spread out. And then there's some people who just sell drugs but don't shoot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's different categories of gangbangers.
Right.
Because there's drug dealers and then there's gangbangers.
Yeah.
Because like just because you sell drugs doesn't mean you're a gangbanger. I mean you can be in college and sell fucking Adderall.
Do you got like old school gangbanger or most of them?
That's my uncles. Like my uncles are like a lot of older retired. Like
and they
one of my
stayed
uncles.
with it.
Yeah, I mean kind of because like one of my uncles he still got his he's got a lipstick tattoo on his neck.
Oh, that's old school. Oh, that's. I haven't seen that in forever. That's how old school is that?
Yeah,
because
they're from Long Beach.
Very popular.
They're from two of my uncles. They got the lipstick, and they're in their 50s now. You know what I mean?
Can't see myself doing that, dude. Lipstick.
I couldn't put tattoos on me.
Yeah. What about Tres Flores was on everything, dude? Right? The Tres Flores is like, you know who has Tres Flores? It's a trip. I used to do. I remember I did background for like this. Collateral, that movie Collateral with Tom Cruise.
I didn't see it. No, I don't remember.
Okay. I don't know if it was real, but I don't know how he's doing it for movies. But Moral, the guy that played, who's the one that played Hulk?
Ferrigno? Lou Ferrigno?
No, the newer film.
Mark Ruffalo?
Mark Ruffalo. He had Tres Flores on his.
Bullshit.
I swear to God.
Real life?
I was in this movie. I was in this this mafia movie. I was this Korean dude, and I remember I was right next to him.
No, it's one thing if it's...
I'm calling the cops on him because he just gets killed. And right before I saw he had Tres Flores on his...
The difference is that's just probably that makeup. Because I don't think he has real
Who's going to put time on the Tres Flores?
You
know what I'm saying? On
they
movie.
They do that all the time.
On a movie?
Yeah.
That's 3 dots. Who's going to take time to put 3 dots on a hand?
Because that's not that hard. Boom, boom, boom. They do that all the time. Because
he's playing a cop, too, so I don't know. But I guess he was a gangster cop. I don't know.
Yeah, no, they do that all the time. Like, the thing is, like, people don't realize, like... Well, here's the thing. Is like, with movies, like, it's very particular. They do that
and he grew up in San Diego. Mark Ruffalo, I think. That's where I saw it on an interview, I think. But I don't know. Go ahead.
Yeah, but like they do things like that. The thing about movies is about the delicacy in it and like the little things. It's about like the little details and like they would do just that 3 dots just for the movie because that's just like how important it is to the scene.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Man.
I gotta see that.
Did you watch Collateral yet?
No, I just told you. No, I told you, motherfucker, I've never seen it.
Did you watch at least watch Heat?
Nope.
With Al Pacino and Robert De Niro?
Nope.
You don't like gangster films, huh?
I like gangster films. I just haven't seen those. Like, it's one of those things that's like on the docket. Like, I have a lot of movies that like Boondock Saints.
Yeah.
On the docket. Blues Bros is on the.
It's more of an action film. Remember when they fight? They drop from the ceiling and they do this like turning.
Don't act like that ain't badass, bitch. Shut the fuck up. Don't act like it was in your dreams.
I wish that was on the news, like someone who tried it and it just went wrong. They're like, they fall from the ceiling and they do that spin and start shooting around.
When you try to start your own open mic, what's the difficulties and things that people don't realize that go into starting your own open mic?
Well, okay, so I did my open mic, but then I also did a show. And the regulars at that bar, it was a paisa bar, if you know what that is.
Yes, I say.
Yeah, so when the regulars, they're like, okay, they're either a paisa or some sort of...
Beaner.
That's pretty much a paisa, right? But then it could also be like mafia or something, or whatever.
Paisa's more like gangster, whereas Beaner's more like...
Cartel. You don't know what a cartel, they don't have, you know?
Yeah, they do. Okay,
so there's some people that are trying to pretend, and you go in there, and then they get drunk, and they want to... And I was the only guy, like, actually working. Like, I'm doing this, and then I'm doing the music, and I'm also doing security.
But the thing is, you're doing it's a very, very small dive bar.
Yeah.
It's a small sports bar. Like, honestly, the capacity for that place was probably, like, 40 people.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very small place. So I understand what you're talking about. And that's the thing is, like, a lot of places, they like places like that because it's easy to come and go. Like, the waitresses there, none of the bartenders spoke English.
Yeah.
So, like, that's the fun part about it. Like... They all look like the weather girl. On the Telemundo shit. Yeah. So it's like, it's one of those things, like, I understand, like, I felt comfortable in the bar. Like, I
liked it.
It's cool, but...
but then when sometimes some people want to, especially when I was doing the show, it's, actually, the open mic was fun, but when I did the show, at the end of it, there's always someone getting too drunk at the end, and they want to, like, end it all, because they want to, because we're all, everyone, they want to hear some mariachi, and you can't even... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. You haven't been to the show part.
I have not. I will agree. I will say I'd never been to the show part, so I can't say anything about that.
I was pretty much butthurt because the show where I'm kind of like networking comics and stuff, and then they're gonna start like some sort of drama towards the end, and I don't. I'm like, I don't have, and I don't I don't have security, so I couldn't afford security, so I had to be the security.
My question to that is, so like, because it went for about a month, right? Your show, like, because I went to it twice. I tried to go as many, because the problem with your spot, I like the location, like the area. The time was a little too early. Yeah. At 5 o'clock, if it was like a 6:30.
Yeah, the thing is because that was the business. That was the time where they needed business. That's the reason why I did that Monday early. Yeah. Because they needed business that day and that early, because that would help them, and that was what I was doing. I was helping them.
Yeah. No, I mean I understand the situation, but as a comic, personally, I find it out because most folks are getting off their day job. Right. Most, especially in LA, everyone's got a day job here in LA, basically. Right. So, like, most people are getting off around, like, 5:30, so they won't be able to get out there till, like, 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Right. No. So that's I didn't. Yeah, that was the best time to help them. Yeah. That was my thing. I didn't want to be nitpicky on that because I really wanted just to help, so I could say, hey, look, I helped your business. Yeah. This is the whole thing, and plus, I mean, I was helping me by doing a hard situation. But it was like, I want to see if I could help these people at the same exact time.
I find it funny, like, well, how did you get to working at a bar where they mainly only speak Spanish? The owner speaks only Spanish.
I just walked in, and it was the closest bar, and the girl who got me it spoke very good English. I met her once. And then as soon as you met her once, right? I
remember the first one.
Super cool, right? And then she left.
Right after.
She moved. She went to Texas for a while to do a show, and I don't know when she comes back. She'll probably call me next time she comes back, but she's over there doing some...
She's out there with her, like, a Mormon boyfriend, right?
Yeah.
She had a Mormon boyfriend or something? A white boyfriend or something?
Did she say it was Mormon?
I don't remember, but we were giving her shit because she said she had a white boyfriend or something like that. It was either Mormon or, like, a really religious boyfriend.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Remember it was the first one.
I met him, yeah, but I didn't know he was Mormon. But
some shit like that.
I remember that she was so cool, and I remember I walked in and she was there, and she was... so nice, and I could talk to her forever, and I don't really talk to a lot of people. If you see me at she was really cool, and she was so nice, and she was like, yeah, you gotta change this place, like, because they didn't want to just cater to them. She said they want to cater to other people, but then,
it's a good neighborhood bar.
Yeah, and then whenever there's a problem, I always call her first, and then the owner, because the owner only speaks Spanish. Yeah. So and she tells him what I need. And then it was all cool. But then she was gone. Like, she was not just cool. They respected her, too. And when she came down, people, like, listened to her. But when she left, it's just like, it was just everyone went balls out. And she told me that the guy, and then the last show, she told me about the dude that tries to, like, start trouble and stuff, Yeah, and so I kind of like, it was fun. I just didn't want to be that way. I knew that it was going to come to an end because I don't want to be censored. I want to just make sure we just all have fun. And the last time it was just like always someone who's trying to ruin the show, and I was just like, yeah, this is not going to be good because then people don't look at me wrong. Look at me like I'm the bad show guy. Yeah. I'm Patrick Baca or something, you know what I mean?
You call yourself Patrick Baca? Oh no! Baca! Baca catching it straight! Baca catching it straight! Oh!
I don't want
that's dirty!
I don't want to have
dirty! I'll give you that one. Shut Patrick Baca! That's a... Damn! That's the best line of the fucking whole podcast I've done.
You don't want to talk about. I don't want to have a.
I love Baka. Baka's been on the show. Baka's been here.
He's super cool. I like him, but we always bump heads. I'm trying to, because I'm all about comedy, and he's.
The problem with Baka's show is Baka. I call it comedy roulette.
Yeah.
Not my turn. Not my turn. Not my turn. You're like going like 40, 50 times, just like.
Yeah.
And at one point, you're just like, just fucking kill me. You're just trying to die.
And he talks to you like you don't matter in this world. What are you doing here?
No, he's like, big dog. I love you, big dog.
You're not making me money or anything. Yeah. Like, you're making him money, and he's like talking to you like you don't matter. And I'm like,
I love Baka, but
it's just it's not good for me. Why am I? You know what I mean? But I wanted to do something others. I'm like, I want to do something for comics, and it didn't. When people are not there, but when they talk about it, it sounds like I'm not. It sounds like, oh, I'm here to, I'm just another mess.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't want to. I didn't want that. So it just the things didn't work, and I wanted to. I wanted it to be a fun place.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel that. Because it's hard. Like, high-key, I kind of want to name it Patrick Baka Show. I'm just kidding.
There you go. See, I shouldn't even bring it up. I did that for a laugh, but you were going to...
I love Baka. I love Baka. But I know all the drama with him. But he's an alright guy. But like,
he's cool.
With running your own mic, like you said, it's like... So that was the first mic you ever ran beforehand?
That was... I've worked in other comedy
shows. But you hosted other shows.
Yes, but people forget about it. But I don't want to.
I'm just trying to ask you for your experience. This is your thing, man.
Yeah, you saw me. I had like a real comedy, club that I did an open mic.
What was that one at again?
I don't want to say, but I'm just saying. I used to run. I used to. Well, I run the open mics at a real club before. I just didn't.
You just don't want to put their name out there?
Well, because they you don't know, but
I don't know.
Yeah,
that's why I asked.
Once you run a real club around in the valley, it's like a different world.
Well,
I don't know about the other side of the, but ever in the valley, it's different.
Let me say this, like, because that's what the whole thing was with B. Like she was saying, is like if the show doesn't sell out, they're gonna cancel the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had some peeps. Do you not remember me running? Do you not remember?
I swear, no.
When we opened up the
I don't remember. I swear I don't remember.
No, you're trying to get me to say the name.
I don't remember.
You're trying to get me to say the name.
So what name? Look, I don't remember.
So, I run an open mic at a real comedy club, and I
don't remember the name of it.
Okay.
I swear I don't remember it. Well, I remember like one of the new mics has been coming up. It was like Comedy Boulevard has been coming up. Deaf Noodle's been coming up a lot more often. Like those ones have been coming up. Like there's not really that many. Like there's a lot more open mics that I think people just haven't gone to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Have you done like sketches yet?
Sketches? Not really. No, not since college. But I did one open mic. I tried to start my own open mic in Altadena, but I did it for like I want to say like 3 months, and then I stopped.
What are you doing with this? Are you gonna,
this is different. This is an open mic.
You seem like you're pretty into it, like the podcast,
the conversation. Because the thing is, what I enjoy most about this podcast thing is the conversation,
right?
And like understanding different points of view. Like I've had people come in here and like during like the middle of COVID be like, whoa, the COVID this, COVID that, it doesn't matter. People are like, oh, I'm so scared of COVID. Like people tell me things. I tell people, like one of the things I'm most of the thing is asking people what is their experience in it, and like juxtaposing it against my experience. Because like I understand like not everyone's experience is the same as mine. Another question I always like to ask folks is what is your goal with comedy? Like, and when I say that, it's like there's like different types of goals, because like not everyone's meant to be Bill Burr or Dave Chappelle or Joe Rogan or whatever.
Yeah.
There's openers. You know what I mean? There's people who go on tour with famous comics, with Bill Burr, with fucking Ron White, and they're their openers, and they make gang of money every year just fucking doing openers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What is your level of success when it comes to comedy? Do you want to be a headliner? Do you want to tour the country, being the host of your own country, being the headliner of your own show, your own country tour? What is your goal with comedy? It's a big question, right?
Yeah, it is, because it's so subjective, and like it seems like
there's no wrong answer.
I'm in LA and so many people don't like a lot of them want you to be saying something. You gotta be saying something. Be somebody and say something. What side are you on? It's kind of that. It's like, what side? And then I'm just like, I'm not that. Am I? I would love to be part of a group if they're part of the group is about laughing. I worry about making fun, and I've never.
See what I
thought when I hear podcasts and comedy podcasts, they always talk about the green room talk, where everybody making people laugh. I haven't seen that ever here in LA. When do people make people? Everyone's just sitting there silent and thinking about their own material. No one's trying to laugh, and I just want to laugh and have fun. That's why I had so much fun at that heckle mic, because it was a part where I could kind of make laugh. I mean, maybe people got offended, but it was like, okay, the system is making people laugh, because the way for me, it wasn't to insult people. It was like, what would make because they had a real crowd. What would make the real crowd laugh? And I was like making them laugh and the comics laugh.
It's harder to make comics laugh.
Yeah, and if you could get them to laugh when they don't want to laugh because you're making fun of someone they respect, and I'm still making fun. I mean, I understand the respect, but what's more respectable in making everybody laugh? Like
that's true.
Would respect me
as a
that
comic.
Would give me respect a lot if you made me laugh. Made people that don't want to laugh because there's someone that's like they
But what is your goal? That's still not a goal.
My goal.
Like, what is it you envision for? Like, I'll give you an example. For me, my goal personally is to be Ryan Seacrest. You know what I mean? Like, no. Like, I want to be that guy. Like, I'm on fucking like. I'm the dude hosting America's Next Top Model. I'm dude hosting fucking America's Got Talent. I honestly, like, I prefer myself in the role of being like a host, of being an opener. Yeah. Like, I feel like my greatest strength isn't a closer. My greatest strength is an opener, because I have so much energy and so much excitement. Like, it doesn't matter what the dude's going to do after me. Like, especially the dudes like is a lot more chiller than me and like relaxed and like, how you got doing, like a Dave Chappelle, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm that dude who comes in beforehand like, how y'all doing? What's up? You see me energy. I'm an energy guy. So I feel like I'm a picker upper in a comedy scene. So like, I'm either a good number 1 or I'm a good 3 before the closer. You know what I mean? I'm the dude before the closer. You know what I mean?
That's cool. Everything's important, dude.
And I feel like my strength isn't as a headliner, but I feel like I'm a setup man. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm best. My personal best is like, I wouldn't mind being a touring comic, but being a touring comic who's an opener for another comic. You know what I mean? And that's a little something about myself. I feel like it humbles me a little bit in my view of myself. You know what I mean? Yeah. I feel like some people, they want like, oh, I wanted to bring this comedy career and extend it to an acting career, or extend it to a podcast, or extend it to a radio gig. Like, there's so many different avenues that folks have for themselves. Yeah. And for you, what is it?
I really enjoy. That's what I'm saying.
Laughing.
I really enjoy everything in I want to do everything in the purest form. That's how I was with art. Well, that's how I was with acting. I really want to do it in the purest form. And you're talking about the purest form of what you're talking, being.
What is it that you want out of it, though? It's squeezing.
It is a hard question.
I have a neighbor of mine. They call her bilingual because she answers both English and Spanish.
That's insane. You must have spent a lot of time on your dog.
No.
Huh?
Her mother did.
Oh.
Because she was a junkyard dog. So her mom and her dad actually came onto my parents' property.
Yeah.
Late December, and the only reason they kept the dogs was because her mom was pregnant, and so 5 years ago, her mom gave birth to her and a brother, and we gave the brother away, and we kept her. So for the first 2 years of her life, she was living at the shop. She was living on the junkyard, and she was just literally. Her mom would teach her everything. Her mom taught her how not to go on the street. Her mom taught her how to follow. Her mom taught her where not to piss and shit. Like, she doesn't piss and shit inside the house. Like, she's really good about that.
Damn, That's an awesome dog.
The only time she pisses in the house is when I come home after like 11:30. But that's understandable because I take her out. I walk her twice a day when I wake up and before I go to bed. When I get home, usually around like 7 or 8ish, 9ish is usually the latest that I get here.
Oh shit.
No, that's all good. It's all good. But going back to what we were talking about earlier about like
what
is your
comedy?
goals with comedy? Like you still haven't defined your goals.
Well, I want to be paid to do comedy, and I want to
be a paid comic.
Yeah, but
let's keep it simple. Be a paid comic.
I would like to be a paid comic. I like to be paid, do it as a job. This is the thing. I know from being out here for so long, I know that if I had like a stage that I could just always do, I could work on my shit and I could just constantly, put weights on. I could be a great comic. It's just, no one puts me out in the thing, and that's the thing. If you put me, I pump it up when the stress goes.
Yeah.
When there's like a huge, I haven't been like an insane crowd. I just pump up it. I put the weight. I make it harder. I go harder on the paint when it comes to comedy. If you just get me in these situations, and I just know that because my whole thing is to do that and maybe have my own comedy club. Maybe
that's what I was about to ask. Yeah. Would you want to do that?
Yeah, I would love to do that. I had fun at that little bar. It's just the fact that I was playing the music, your run-up music, and
close out music,
introducing, make a comment for each person, and then also be security at the same time. There's always a drunk person at the end that's going to ruin the whole thing, and then I have to deal with them, and then...
At that point, I feel like you have to have help, and I feel like, did you ever reach out to some? Because I felt like what you were building there had a strong foundation. I felt like, because it was a great spot, great location.
Yeah.
The worst part about it is you didn't speak enough Spanish to deal with it.
Yeah.
That's the only bad part about like.
Well, I did need a security. That's the thing.
Yeah, and what I said is a partner.
Yeah.
If you had a partner, a friend. Yeah, I think that's the only thing.
Well, it's near you if you wanted to do it.
If you had asked me, motherfucker, I could have, but I never got...
But you gotta be dedicated to being there at the show.
Every time... But then again, it's one of those things like you have
to... That's why I didn't... Yeah, that's the thing, is depending on other people.
You have to... no matter what you do in your life, to be successful, even to be great, at certain points, you're going to have to rely on others.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan... At one point, had to rely on Steve Kerr to make a 3-point shot. You know what I mean? Kobe Bryant, he had to rely on Meta World Peace. Tom Brady, he had to make sure his defense was strong enough. You know what I mean? So it's little things like no matter how great you are, no one's great individually. Like
they're very easy to talk to, the owner, but when it comes to the fact that when it comes to showtime, you're gonna I needed a security guy.
I feel like after the first time, you should have asked somebody. You should have reached out to somebody.
Yeah.
But that's hindsight, and that's 2020. You know what I mean? Everything gets locked down after that.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Well, I don't know. I mean, since we're on your show, I mean, if you want it, I could figure out something. But you'd have to.
I would commit. I would commit. If you were to ask me to commit to something, it'd have to work. I would have to make sure it had to be on like either Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday. Those are the only 3 days that I can truly commit to somebody. Because the other days I have either work or I have other engagements or I have something to do. So like Saturdays and Sundays are my busy days for work and stuff.
So what did you feel about how I had it set up where practice time on this day and practice time and then real time on one day?
That's what you should do
every week. Right? It was fun. It's kind of cool. You practice, and you may have a potential person...
to be on your show.
Yeah.
Which is cool. And that's fine. What you could do is you could just do, like, best set gets on show. Like, the Good Night. Have you done the Sunday Good Night show? Have you heard of it?
I haven't done the Sunday... Yes, I have.
But you heard of it, right?
Yeah,
it's half of it... The first half is a show, and the second half is an open mic. And that's something that could...
Yeah, but the audience... How would you get that audience?
That's the hard part. And the thing is, it's about cultivating that audience. And once again, it's like going about cultivating an audience is hard, especially for an open mic. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter what open mic you go to. What open mics do you go to that has like people who aren't comics in it mainly? You know what I mean? 99% of open mics you go to is going to be mainly comics. Doesn't matter what it is. Even if it's like a half comedy show, half open mic, like they do at the Bruise Bros with the bare knuckles.
I don't want to there's a slippery slope where you get to be like Baca. That's where I just don't want.
What do you mean by that?
I don't want that behind my fate, like me attached to something that ends up where people are sitting there, comics are sitting there pissed off.
But you have the problem with Baca's show is he doesn't have a cutoff. If he had a cutoff and it's like, hey man, there's too many people on the mic tonight, you can't do it tonight. People would be okay. I understand that. You know what I mean? That's the problem with Baca's show. Is he booked too many people at once? You know what I mean? And that's what he's trying to do. He's just trying to fill up the room. And like the thing about like his show is like once you hit 10 o'clock, people start leaving. That's the problem. Like once it hits 10, people start leaving. 10:30, half the crowd's gone. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just about like when you do it, where you do it, how you do it.
Yeah, I guess I maybe it's my whole thing of getting a bad name.
My problem with you, and the mic that you did, is you didn't do enough promotion.
Yeah.
I would say this: you didn't do any promotion. Like you didn't send me a flyer. I felt like you didn't do like a mass text to people. Like,
yeah, I didn't want to be annoying.
No, that's fine. Do be annoying. When you're starting something, be annoying as fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You should be, because what I would do when I started my mic and I got people through this, I would be able to get 5 people through this solid every time I did a mic, is I would just blast everyone. Blast everyone. You know what I mean? Even if they ain't got nothing I ain't got nothing better to do, I just might as well just do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just blast everyone. And just do it. Like, that's my biggest problem with your mic.
Yeah.
You didn't do enough promotion.
Yeah,
and is that a fair criticism?
Well, yeah. But I just didn't want to be the.
That's the only problem I had with you.
I didn't want to annoy anybody. And
please.
I just look in my Instagram. I just wanted to be different. I wanted to be a place. Okay, this is the place where you're not gonna worry about this, and I'm not gonna pressure
here's
about.
Here's the problem with Instagram, because like sometimes you post something, and I won't see your post for 2 days later. You know what I mean? Because you're not. That's how the algorithm works. So that's why you have to just send it to people. You know what I mean?
Oh, really?
Because that's the problem. It's like, yeah, I get it. Oh, just put it out there. People come when they come. I understand that thought process.
Yeah.
I understand the emotion behind that. But personally, annoy the fuck out of people. Please do. Because it was a good spot. I liked the spot. I liked where it was. You see how far it is from my... Like, it's literally like 5 minutes from here.
We could try it with you as the front for the owner, because you speak Spanish.
A little bit, not as much, but like honestly, I'll be this. When I was literally in kindergarten, I was crying to my father. He was telling me, he says, "Why don't you speak more Spanish?" And I was crying to him. I was literally like 4 or 5 years old. I was crying in his chest, crying in his lap, and I said, "This is America. Speak American." 5 years old, I was saying that.
Yeah.
I have no idea why the fuck I was saying that. Now that's the biggest regret of my life. You know what I mean? Yeah. I should have known how to speak better Spanish.
Yeah, I wish. Now I'm just like, I wish I could speak Tagalog and Spanish.
Mm-hmm. If he speaks Tagalog, it's pretty easy to speak Spanish.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know Spanish more than I knew Tagalog sometimes, because Tagalog is a mixture of English and Spanish, and then their own shit.
Yeah, it's a very complex language, Tagalog.
Yeah, it's weird. And plus, they use their whole body when they speak it. They're not half-assed in it, because it's like because Spanish is backwards, but they speak Spanish, but then they kind of articulate certain things that don't need it. Like when they say chocolate, they say chocolate. Chocolate.
That's how you say in Spanish, or chocolate.
Oh yeah, they get all into it. It's like. But and then they go and they point with their fingers. They point with
their lips.
Yeah, and they're just you have to be in that zone.
But that's fun though.
You know, like when I'm speaking English, I'm just relaxed and I saying things. But with them, they're like the chocolate and the.
But that's just how some people like talk.
There.
I mean, even the Armenians. Like when you talk to Armenians, they're very talking with their bodies and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I feel that no one talks about this much about Philippines. It's. Because it's like,
you didn't make this part of your set.
And they point with their feet over there, and they'll just like they use their whole body to explain something, and that's how I was around it, and I was annoyed by it, because
That's great.
Because when I was a kid, I I didn't grow up with that. My mom was white.
Whitewash?
She was Irish.
Oh.
Yeah. And
But she was Irish, Filipino?
American. She was a mix of everything.
So she was Irish,
yeah,
Filipino?
but she was more Americanized, and she didn't push the Filipino on me. Because my family were not, like, we weren't close with the Filipino side until I got older, and then my it's hard to explain. I grew up in a divorced family, so I didn't see the Filipino side only on every now and then with the holidays. Especially when I was younger, we didn't like when I was a kid growing up. I did not see the Filipino side enough. Really, it was a rarity. But the thing is, it was the fun side too because they had the most
great parties.
Crazy part. It's just like
family.
Yeah, and it's just a lot of like they.
Like Micronesians and Mexicans are very much similar.
Yeah, third world country parties.
Motherfuckers said third world country parties. The fuck?
Yeah, like
Heineken everywhere.
Well, because they're just I don't know. They live differently, but they have the culture. They and that side had like the culture stuff, but then it births funny shit. Like I had a cousin. I don't know. But
you don't have to say which one of your cousins because you have 30 of them.
I'm gonna say a babysitter babysitted me, female, farted in my face because she dared me to kiss her butt, and she farted on my face.
One of your cousins?
I'm just saying a babysitter.
That's weird. That's weird. I will say this.
Filipino babysitter dared me to kiss her butt, and she farted on my face,
and she thought it was funny.
It sounds creepy,
disgusting.
But it's funny at the same time because she was setting up a fart. Like she had to hold the fart, and then
she had to think about it. She's like, I got a fart,
and she knew that she could talk me into it.
How old were you?
I was around 5 years old, you know.
And she was probably what, 15, 16?
And I remember it to this day, like around 12 or something like that.
Yeah.
And she farted in my face, and it was traumatizing to me. I laughed my ass off, but as an adult, I think it's hilarious as fuck. Then people, I say that in like, I rarely say it in comedy.
Yeah, but, it's a good shit. It's a good bit. Like I have a bit similar to. I have a story similar to that. Is like I was about like 13, 14 years old, and one of my cousins, she was about like 10, 11, and you were playing around. I'm just tickling her, and I was tickling her so hard that she farted.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like this is the thing. I was. Oh yeah, you know, before the lockdown, I was in a self-development class that turned into like a cult type of deal.
What does that even mean?
Well, they teach you self-development, but they also teach you leadership. But then the leadership ends up being kind of culty because you kind of like you want people to be like, you know, that positive talk.
Mm-hmm.
There's this like talk where like let's say you go, I hate this day, but in their talk it's like you choose to hate this day.
It's like Scientology.
I don't know what it was. Yeah, it was a little bit like Scientology, and then eventually they go off and do their normal world, and then you want to be part of their little cult. Like they'll end up being because you want to be the leader.
Yeah,
and you have to keep within their talk and the way they say, and it ends up being kind of culty.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, most of these, like in world to live right now, especially in LA, you've got to be in that mindset. But I can't be that. I'm not that guy to be like the culty guy.
I feel that.
You know what I'm saying? But I am like loving positive stuff and keeping it positive. But when it comes to like the culty stuff where like you're gonna be running like, I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm,
like manipulative type of people. I feel that's like
a young Baca. I'm just kidding. I'm giving you Baca.
Damn, dude.
No, Baca's catching strays, man. Baca's catching strays. I'm just kidding. I ain't gonna lie. I'll say this. You don't know this, but I'm mad at Baca because he canceled on me twice. So fuck you, Baca, but love you.
Cancel you?
He was supposed to be in the podcast again.
All right.
2 weeks ago. Last 2 weeks. Last 2 Fridays, he's canceled on me. Because
he thinks I hate him, but I don't.
I don't give a fuck if he thinks I hate him.
I like to make. I since I don't want to be that. I don't want to be whatever he does. Like I don't want to be that. But who wants to be other people?
Exactly. I kind
of want to be me, and I just want to be like helpful for comedy, but it just doesn't. No matter what you try to do a good thing, some people could turn it into anything, and it's the way the world's set up right now. They can make like the most innocent person look horrible easy now, because it's just like they could twist anything now.
Yeah, true.
Nowadays, so you just have to be happy within yourself and what you're doing. And I was doing that, but then you could twist anything.
But why let those people determine how you feel?
I'll tell you a story. Remember you weren't at the last day of the show.
No, I wasn't, because I had shit that day. I tried to make it to as much as I could, but like Monday sometimes I have shit. But
no. This was a Thursday when the show was happening.
Oh no, I was busy. Yeah.
I do the show, and there was a regular that came at the first show, and he showed up at the last show.
The second one.
No, third one.
Okay.
I did 3 shows.
Nice.
And then the third show, he shows up, and I'm like, okay, he's gonna be cool. He likes this. He knows that it's gonna be a comedy show. And he shows up, and the owner told me, you know what, I'll provide the audience. I don't have to worry about the audience.
Okay, first off, this dude speaks nothing but Spanish.
He texts. He texts
in English?
He texts in English.
Okay.
This is how we do it. This is our work. This is how we do it. I tell him and then he goes and Googles and asks the girl. Remember the girl? Mm-hmm. She's over in Texas, so he texts or calls the girl, tells her what I said, and then she tells him, and then this is how we conversate. Communicate.
Puts that bitch in Duolingo.
She's great. So he tells me, he goes, you know what, you don't worry, because I was like, it takes money, because I have to go to comedy store, I got to talk to people, I got to go to these places and get the audience. And he goes, no, you know what, I'll bring the audience. So he brings the guy that was at the first show, who was kind of like intimidating people at the beginning. Mm-hmm. But I'm thinking, okay, he's a changed man, he's coming over here to have fun.
Blaize.
So we show up, we do our thing, and he's like irritated, and he leaves I had this girl do comedy on stage, and they all just leave, and they start making loud noises, like just yelling
from the parking lot.
Yeah, and we could hear it from inside. So I guess they don't want to hear the girls' comedy, but then they're also being destructive
outside.
Yeah. So I go out there, and I was like, look, we have 8 minutes. It's the last girl. Can you please just come inside? And they go, no, I want to have fun. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I go in the bathroom, I come out, but they change their mind. They come in, but one of the dudes is mad because I every time I got on the stage, I was just making fun of him the whole time, because he left and I was making fun of him. So he comes in, and he's like so pissed, and he's looking at me like he's gonna
do something.
Yeah. And then I just kind of just started making fun of him the whole time, and then he got mad, and then it just became a big thing. So yeah, and it's close quarters. It's scary, and there's no windows. Mm-hmm. No one knows what's going on, But then the door's open, so I felt safe. It is not a big deal, but I was just irritated because the owner was said he was going to be there. He was there for the beginning, and he leaves. People usually behave when he's around, but once he's gone, it's like, how do you feel about being closed in a bar?
Yeah,
has no windows.
There's only one exit,
and there's a guy intimidating you who has people behind him. But those people weren't really. I mean, they were behind him, but they were very nice people. They were holding him back from trying to fight me.
Yeah. But what was he saying? What was he saying? Because the difference between...
No, he was just mad dogging and looking like he got up, and he was kind of like looking like he was going to do something.
See, the difference between me and you is like, because I come from that territory. I come from like when someone steps up to you like that, like the difference is like, I come from a very, very dominating household. Like, I'm step 2 every single time I'm coming to my mom's and my dad's house. You know what I mean? Like, every time I come there, I have to come correct, or else my dad's gonna punk me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I did. That was it. But then the comic got scared.
Female
because
comic?
the guy pretended that he had a gun, and he went like this. He goes, he like he looked like he had something tucked in. And he pretended, and he didn't have anything in his hand. And the girl that was on stage scared, and she left, and that got me mad. And I'm like, oh, people are gonna say, I don't know what they're gonna say.
They're gonna say, yeah.
So this is what happened. One of the comics, this chick, we're at the comedy store. Very nice to me. I'm at the comedy store talking to her, and then. Everything was all good. I'm like, okay, I got someone to hang out at the comedy store. Because usually when I'm at the comedy store, I have no one to hang out with. And I'm like hanging out with her, and we're kicking it. And all of a sudden, she flips the whole story, and she starts saying, "Oh, that was all your fault. You started this." And
it was the same comic.
One of the comic, no,
it was a different comic.
One of the comics that were on the on the list.
On list. Yeah.
She started saying these things, and it just freaked me out. I'm like, oh my god, you could turn it around. I was out.
That's the thing is, you're scared. And I understand that.
People could switch the narrative.
Yeah, and
so easily.
You have to. It's easy. It's easy to. And the problem with that is, it comes from a place of you trying to create an environment that's safe for people, and you want people to feel comfortable. But at the same time, you have to stay strong. Yeah, that shit happens.
Yeah.
The problem was, you didn't have security.
Yeah,
that's the problem. If you
have to pay security though.
You do, and you don't. You do. Like, if you can find a way to people, you know what I mean? Like, no, it doesn't matter. Like, people want to be paid for their time. Yes, that is true. And the thing is you have to find other ways of paying people. Like, if you ask a Mexican, the easiest way to pay a Mexican is to drink them out. If you tell a Mexican, I'm gonna give you a 6-pack, they're like, what time I gotta be there? Like, that's just how it is. Like, different people are motivated by different things. You tell someone, it's like, hey, man, I'll give you a gram of weed. Shit, I'll be there, man. You know what I mean? That's all they need. Like, you need to motivate different people for different reasons. And, like, me, I'm lucky because I'm a pretty big guy. You know what I mean? I'm, above average enough size that, like, I can defend myself. I can make people feel safe. You're pretty... Yeah.
I think my stature goes, we're gonna start something to see what you'll do.
Yeah.
I feel like the way I'm a little Filipino dude, when it brings up to bullies, they go, I'm gonna start stuff because I know that you are gonna try to not
do shit.
Do
you feel?
So I feel that they actually do stuff. If I was a bigger dude,
stronger. Like, I will say this: do you feel like your race and your size and stature? Do you feel like people discriminate against you because of that?
Well, I think they want to poke the bear easily. Like they're like,
you're a small guy, so I can fuck with you, and you ain't gonna do shit.
Because they know they're like, especially like, and they don't like little Asian people like me being confident and being that nags people. I feel
you feel that? I don't know. This is your life. This is your experience. So I don't know that. So
I feel that like certain especially if you're a big dude that's a bully.
Mm-hmm. Because there are bullies here in comedy. Yes. There are.
I'm not just saying big dudes. There's all types that has the bully mentality, and they see someone like me who goes. Like, because I'm a little Filipino dude, they go...
And you're a nice guy. And
yes.
You're not to say this, but they see you as a nice guy and that you're a pushover and they want to take advantage of you. And I'm not one of those people. I don't want to take advantage because I really do like you, Pat.
Thank you.
Man. And I think you're a good guy. I think you're funny. I just think, like, my personal belief in you doesn't match up with a personal belief in yourself. I feel like I have a higher view of you than you have of yourself. I think you're a really good comic. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
I think the only problem with you is, like... I understand where you're coming from. You're afraid of, like, this and that, and you're afraid of, like, being canceled. A lot of us are. We got to just move past that. Like, I know I'm a very intimidating person. I'm a loud man. I'm very aggressive, and it is off-putting. So, like, with me, like, it's funny with me because, like, I have so much female energy. Like, female comics will gravitate to me, but, like, my rule is I don't touch female comics. Like, you know what I mean? I don't fuck comics because I see them as coworkers. And rule number one of working: don't fuck your coworkers. And like, I've only been with one comic before, and never again. But like, you were a good person.
What do you think of the science of that? Because I've dabbled, and it's scary. Comics? It's scary. To me, it's a scary thing.
Yeah.
From my experience, dabbling with female comics it ends up being scary. Or anyone who's into like the entertainment, they could be cold. Look, there's so much feelings But then when it comes to certain situations, they could be cold as hell.
Fair. I could say that over my ex, but like I'll say this about like the reason why I don't like I'm cool with female comics, I hang out with female comics, but my intentions is never to sleep with female comics. And my thought process is like they're my coworkers. You know what I mean? If I mess with one of them, then every single other female comic is gonna know, because women talk, men talk. Like if I were to fuck a female comic, like, oh man, I fucked this girl, like this and that, this is what she's like, and
the comics go, female comics are
and the male comics are gonna talk about it, and then the same thing with female comics. Female comics can be like, hey, I fucked this one dude comic, and like
instant.
So like it's not worth it to me. Like maybe one day I might find that woman, and maybe she is a comic. Yeah. Maybe we do hit it, but like
I'm not gonna discriminate.
As of right now, when it comes to female comics, I look at them as comrades first.
Yes.
And sex partners never. Like, never fuck with them. Like, I have a lot of female comics I love. And I, not love, like, sexually, but I love them because they're great people. They're great comics. Yeah. They're great, just to be around with. Right. And that's my energy is like, hey, let's just be friends. You know what I mean? Like, we're comics. Like, I know you're in this comic scene. I'm not going to try and hit on you because I don't need to hit on you because, like, I'm going to do my own thing with other people. Like,
it's
because it makes shit awkward.
Yeah, and it may but then I'm so interested because we're swimming in the same pool, and we're just kind of just trying to do the same thing. Can we be, it's
because
it's interesting.
Not to call any female comics specifically, but there's a lot of beautiful female comics that I would be interested in pursuing, but I don't pursue them because hey, let's just not do it.
Yeah, we could just have fun.
Yeah.
And try to have fun.
Just be comics. Just like let's just be homies.
Yeah, because if you have the ultimate time of whatever time you have with them, if you have the funnest time, it just pulls in other people. It doesn't have to be a comic that you have to hook up with. It could be like whoever wants to be within the fun.
Like honestly,
have fun.
Honestly, like I'll be hanging out with female comics, and then I just like meet some random girl, and I was like meeting another other girl, like random girl, like some girl's not even a comic. Like we hang out and like, oh hey, what's up, blah blah blah, like her one of her friends, and it's way better to date her friends than her, because her friends don't have a microphone to fucking project on you.
This is the thing, and then there's the thing. It's I feel like sometimes there are certain areas I have to be on eggshells because I don't want to be an enemy. I just want to have fun. Just let's laugh together, and then.
And I just want to be a creep, like Felix.
But dude, if you create a fun time, it brings in fun people around you.
Good people.
It doesn't have to be
like
comic.
you.
Yeah, I am.
You're a good end. Like I'll say this, like the part of thing of like what I love about my podcast is I bring people on like you who I feel like are really really good, don't get enough spotlight, but just need like an extra push. Like I feel like this is like what my shit is like. I feel like when you're on like VH1 or MTV and they do the like a Netflix documentary on you, this is the shit they're gonna pull up. They're gonna pull up this shit when you're on here. Like, oh look at Pat when he was on the Blaize podcast. Like, and that's the shit I think about.
Well, this is great. No, I'm trying to.
So your ultimate goal is to be like basically a club owner. You want to own your own club.
Yeah, I would like that. Because I have my own spiel on what I feel.
Do you still do acting now?
No, but I'm making a short film. But I have a short film coming up. It's just
when is it coming out?
Well, the producers, this is the thing. We used to make short films before. I made a film called Stutter Love, and
Stutter Love. That sounds fun.
Yeah,
that sounds actually kind of cute.
Yeah, it was supposed to be. It's a cute, but I feel like I like it. I feel that there's a lot more to the film, but if you check it out, it's Stutter Love, and
What's it on?
Huh?
What's it on? Stutter Love is on what?
It was on YouTube.
Stutter Love on YouTube. Stutter Love.
Yeah, Nick Buddha is the producer.
Nick Buddha, YouTube, Stutter Love. Look it up. I'm about to look it up after we done today.
Yeah. It was fun. My friend Nick Buddha had got the production company, like paid a production company to make it, right?
Okay, that's different.
But yeah, so this time around he's actually buying up the
it's a lot of money.
The equipment.
It's thousands of dollars, millions of dollars sometimes.
So this short, he's buying up the actual equipment.
All the film, audio, fucking editors.
So he's buying up this time. So now it's gonna be actually me actually trying to get this done instead of, because last time I was directing, but he actually paid a crew. Mm-hmm. So this time around, he's buying the equipment, and then we're going to figure out how to make the film. And so it's about trying someone who do you remember when lockdown and when the restaurants were
closed and they had the outside seating
and then people didn't know how the future was going to be. So this person lost their job. And then the owner decides to decide on drug dealing instead of to make it because remember lockdown, we didn't know what the future was gonna be. We don't know it was gonna be Mad Max. You know what I mean? We didn't know what was going on.
Let's be honest. The fact that toilet paper sold out the first week, I was like, motherfuckers.
That was telling you something's going crazy.
It told me the Americans are idiots.
Yeah, what's the toilet paper gonna do? What are you?
Even before COVID, I always had a rule. My rule was have 3 months pack of toilet paper.
Yeah.
And after COVID, it was like, oh yeah, that's so smart. I never thought about it. I was like, motherfucker, I had that, like, I was good for 3 months post-COVID. Like, I didn't give a fuck. Like, everyone's running out for toilet paper. It was like, bitch, I got toilet paper for days.
Dude, I live near Big Five, and I live near Target.
Nothing. Completely empty.
It was empty during the
COVID.
Lockdown. But... So
the first 3 months.
I wrote it during lockdown, and I also was inherited a pound of weed, like a whole like a big old jar of weed.
That's nice.
And because
that's like a month's worth.
So because I inherited it through a self-development class, and this guy this guy sold weed, and he gave it to me, and I was supposed to sell it. And that was it. But so I made a story out of it where let's say
you know who you are. You're Smokey from Friday. Smokey!
I gotta get rid of these drugs. It was so what if the guy who has all the stuff in his house, he has all the weed in his house, and all of a sudden he dies of COVID, and I'm the only one who knows he has all the drugs, and I have to. Before the cops or anyone... You know what?
That's a great fucking short film.
That's what I'm just telling you. That's what the story's about. So I'm the only one who knows that he has all the drugs. So before the cops find out that he has it, I gotta break in and get that because how am I gonna survive this lockdown?
Yeah.
I don't know how long this lockdown is gonna be. So... Do you remember the restaurant person who got on the news and she's like, "Oh I knew this bar, by the way."
No bar was it?
It was Pineapple Saloon.
I don't know.
Over in Van Nuys.
Nope.
She's like, "Oh, I made a big old camp where they have outdoor dining, and all of a sudden they're telling me I can't do it, but then the film people."
Oh!
Do you remember that?
Yes. I remember because they filmed it right across from the studio, and they had a big old tank full of like 50 people.
I can't serve food. I have to close down, but these people could.
Yes.
So that shit's going. All this shit's going on. Everybody's losing their fucking
mind
and
life.
This guy lost his whole thing, but then he knows that this person is gonna start doing drugs, but then. They have all these drugs, but then he passes away. So we need to get to those drugs before the cops. Now, it's not like these are bad people. It's just how we're going to survive through this pandemic.
Yeah. It's kind of like a Breaking Bad / COVID.
Yeah, so the pandemic wasn't... in life, the pandemic wasn't that bad. But...
Honestly, no.
Thinking during the time when lockdown happened, we don't know what was going to happen. We don't know if it's going to be Mad Max or not.
Honestly, I didn't even thought the pandemic was into that bad. I didn't because I feel like
some people were
white folks.
Some people thought.
See, the Mexicans, we didn't give a fuck.
Yeah. Well, I was.
The Filipinos didn't give a fuck either. Shut the fuck up. You know the Filipinos are partying like motherfuckers.
I was more on your side. I don't know what they. My family were actually scared as fuck. Well, I don't know about all Filipinos, but my family was scared as fuck. Like I couldn't even go to the family gathering unless I got the shot.
Vaccine, yeah.
So, but then my family, I have certain part of my family couldn't go to the family gatherings because they didn't believe in it. So there was that. It was craziness.
Yeah.
But the mindset at that time,
we can all do drugs.
I was doing mushrooms, like the whole beginning for like 6 months of mushrooms on every weekend, mushrooms, and it was just like end of the world thinking. You know what I mean? But anyways, let's say this drug dealer, that I knew, like he has the way of our survival. Do you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna have to go in there, but we didn't know that other people are actually gonna try to get to that shit. So we're battling to get to that, to get to
the stash.
Yeah, get to the stash and all the stuff that he has, because that's
a great fucking film.
Yeah, because
that's great. You know what? You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Pineapple Express.
Yeah. But then
not in the same, but the same.
It's a little bit hardcore though.
No, but it's hardcore.
It's the only way to survive.
But like you've seen Pineapple Express, right?
Yes.
Do you remember how like they go to that ranch and they got all the weed and shit?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, but different. It's a different setting. I guess it's not like I'm not. Obviously.
It's more urgent.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we want to live a little bit more longer. So
we could all die from the virus.
But if we get those drugs, we could have we could
revenue. Chill. We could break. We could break.
We could make some money
to save the restaurant,
to survive. Actually,
yeah.
So that's the thing. We're trying to get to the drugs and to get the thing, and so. And the movie's called Window, so it's it's a window that we get into, but then there's a window of time.
Yeah.
Because we have
metaphors.
Yeah, it's a metaphor, because if we get there's a window of time to get to that window and get the drugs, because before the cops or whoever
the other drug people.
Whoever was gonna,
because you're fighting other drug lords and you're fighting the police,
and it's
so it's this whole like in between thing.
Yes,
and like it's great because like you have to like fuck, we gotta get like so it's
great.
I love the premise.
Do you know what I'm saying? We have to get there before everyone else finds out, and the cops find out that the guy's dead. You know, at some point, someone's gonna get those drugs.
You know what? I've been surprised about Hollywood right now. I haven't seen any scripts about COVID.
I know they're scared of it. I think, because no one wants to think about those times.
Well, it's just like...
But it is a time of struggle and a time of, I don't know what's going to happen, and I'm going to have to... Like, because if you lost everything, your job and everything...
I know a lot of folks. I know a lot of folks.
How are you going to make money?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, it's desperate times, and good people could become...
Like Breaking Bad, like the show Breaking Bad, like Walter White is a chemistry teacher.
Yes.
I mean, it's Breaking Bad vibes. Like, not that it's a bad thing, but it's like,
he had to do it.
He had to do it. Like, these are good people put in a bad situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he needed to do that so he could help his family.
Because he thought he was going to die in a year.
Yes.
And then like, okay, well, he has a kid on the way. His
it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, and you can do whatever the fuck you want to, but like this and that, but like. To make the stakes higher, but like I understand exactly where you come from, and that's a great premise. Like I still haven't seen a single show, movie, or anything about the pandemic, which is weird.
It's hard to touch because people don't want to. I think that just it's just that no one's. People want to forget that, but no one wants to talk about the desperation. The desperation.
Like no show, movie, or anything is talking about COVID.
Yeah.
What movie, show, like, nothing. I feel like it's going to come out in, like, 5-10 years, maybe in 2025, 2027.
I feel people want to... That's why it's a scary situation, subject to talk about.
I don't think it's scary. I think it's just...
For other people, I think that's the reason why you don't see anything. They want
to be fair, I've had family members die of COVID. I have at least 4.
Really?
Yeah. I had COVID, I had COVID in February, a month before the lockdown.
What happened?
I was sick like a dog. I didn't know I had COVID until afterwards.
What was happening with you?
I was sick like a dog. I was shaking.
Yeah,
my bones were hurting.
And
I was puking. I was puking. I had a runny nose.
What taste?
I see, the problem with me is because I'm such a stoner, I was smoking the whole way through it. So I was like, bleh, and then afterwards I was smoking.
I can't. For some reason, I can't. I don't feel like I could get rid of smoking weed. or being around.
I'm a weed smoker. Like I smoke. See, the thing is with me is I'm like Kendrick Lamar's song. I wake up, smoke, shit, smoke, drive. Like I'm smoking all day, every day.
Yeah.
Like for me, like and like he was like, oh, this and that. It's like for me, it's like it's a calling back to my culture because it comes from native. Like weed is mainly here in America. That's where it mainly comes from, America. And like being, I come from Native American blood partly because I'm Mexican. And like if you what they call it the peace pipe because like a lot of people would make treaties with the peace pipe, which was weed, and we would smoke like. A lot of Mexicans and Native Americans were really big into tobacco smokers. Yeah. Like a lot of us are tobacco. Even in Filipinos, a lot of Filipinos.
I got Cherokee in me.
Yeah, I can see that, especially
Cherokee.
with your mom.
Cherokee and Irish.
Yeah, so it's like it's one of those things like almost like smoking's in our blood. You know what I mean? But the difference is that I smoke weed. My grandparents smoke weed. Like a lot of my family, like I know a lot of folks in my family that smoke weed.
My dad smokes weed.
Yeah, my mom. If my mom knew I smoked weed, she'd be mad. She'd be bad. Like I know for a fact my grandmother did crack. Like, there's no way she didn't do it. Like,
why is that?
She grew up in Mexico, fucking poor as fuck. I mean, she had 11 children.
Yeah.
What the fuck drugs didn't she do?
Yeah.
When you have 11 children, what drugs don't you do? Let's be honest. So, you know what I mean?
11 kids.
In Mexico, poor as fuck. Like she lived in an area you can't drink the water. Like my grandma died of COVID, but because she was a partier. Even during the lockdowns, you know what the fuck she was doing? She was partying the fuck up in Mexico. Mexico didn't party. It was closed down. No, Mexico didn't give a fuck, man. Really? Because we fucking degenerates. Like, I'm just like when it comes to like people like saying about like, oh this and that. Like I'm scared. Like Mexicans didn't care. We really didn't.
Yeah.
If we died, we died. Like, who in the beginning of COVID when it first started in like December, January, February, the first people who were dying were people in retirement homes. Mainly old, rich, white folks were dying of COVID in the beginning. And then who was taking care of the old, rich, white folks? The poor minority Mexicans. Poor minority Filipinos. And then they started saying, oh, we should start taking COVID more seriously because the Filipinos and the Mexicans are dying. The only reason why is because the majority of people who died of COVID were the old, were the weak, and were the sick. And that's hard to say. And it's like, oh, what about the flu? How many people die of the flu? How many people die of malaria? How many people die of Ebola? Like, why should I care about, like, how many people die of STDs? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you care about how many people die of STDs?
The thing is I wish I knew what the actually number was.
But does it matter? Yes or no? Does it matter?
Of how they died?
Does it matter how people die?
How they died?
Millions of people die every year.
Yeah.
Billions of people die every year. Trillions of people die every year. You know what I mean?
Yes. You don't know
what does it matter if people die? Because like people are so like, oh, this person, that person. Like I hate like going back to the chateau. Like the shit toe. Like I'll say this. Like a lot of people I talk to is like, oh, me too. Black Lives Matter, this and that, like whatever, like social movement, trans lives matter, whatever. And then they're like, hey man, you should talk about the chateau. Like the chateau is a great place and this and that. And it's like, fuck the chateau. You know what I mean? Because of those reasons, because it's sexist, it's homophobic, it's all those things. Yeah. Because of Felix.
Okay. Tell me.
Tell
me a story of what was the. Tell me, give me the detail of the situation that got you to this point with Felix.
The multiple times I had to talk to different women.
Different
women who weren't even my friends. The wait staff, the bartender, the fucking cooks. I talked to everyone there. Like when I go to places, I have an innate ability. I don't talk to the owner. I talk to the workers. I talk to the bar staff. Yeah. I talk to the cooks. I find out what they talk about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Talk to those people. And those people are going to tell you a lot more than everyone else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they see everybody. They see everything.
You ever run into that bartender?
Which one?
The Mexican dude? I ran into him. He has 2 jobs.
The Mexican? What Mexican dude?
He works at the Chateau and he works at the Circus Liquor. There's a bartender that works there. And I was like, oh my God, you work both of them?
I didn't see him.
stressful as that?
Circus, but the Circus liquor is just a liquor
on
store.
Vineland.
Yeah.
He works
Vineland and is it Burbank?
No, yeah, it's Burbank and Vineland.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. That place isn't that ghetto. It's not that bad.
But still, I mean, to work that and the chateau. Well, you know, I'm a lazy person, but I just thought that that's fucking hard work.
It's not.
To deal with chateau mess and then go over there and
deal with fucking Felix first. Like I said, like with Felix, I don't like how he treats people. I don't like how he treats women. I don't like how he treats his wait staff.
What did he do with women? What happened? Come on, I want to see. I want a story.
He's a creep. I'm not gonna say names. I'm gonna say places, but I've seen like from what I've heard and from people that tell me is that he will give female comics a little bit extra bump, a little bit more things, a little bit more freedoms, and they do things for him. You know what I mean?
What would they do for him? You know?
I'm just not saying anything, but like, cause that's not my place. Like, I'm being honest.
I haven't been there forever.
I'm never gonna perform there again. Like the only time I performed there was for Baka, and then I went to Baka's shows. This whole fucking $1,000 bullshit contest. I love you, Baka, but bullshit. But like, the dude who won the first one was from Arizona and had 30 people in the crowd and won by 30 votes. Even though Sam Howard lost by fucking 4 votes.
Sam Howard is the shit.
Fucking love Sam.
Yeah,
fucking love Sam Howard.
Shit.
Yeah, like I'm one of those people like I shout people out. Like I'm gonna fuck like it's about like being generous. Being like people's like, oh, Bill Cosby, Harvey Weinstein. Why didn't anyone talk out? This is me talking out about Felix. And if anyone says shit. If I'm on a documentary, people put this podcast on, be like how I talk shit about Felix from day one. You know what I mean? From the sin as I found out, like this dude's a bad guy and that dude doesn't do shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm one of those guys. Like he was like, me too. Hashtag Black Lives Movement. All lives matter. You know what I mean? Black Lives Matter. Whatever the fuck movement it is, I don't give a fuck what your movement is. What do you do to prove that you do that movement? Just because you put some fucking hashtag or some black photo, like all black photo.
Oh man, have you been anywhere? Everyone has those signs. Hey, dude. So how long did you grow up in Diamond Bar?
Since I was 10. My first birthday there was my 10th birthday. Oh, yeah. We went to the Diamond Bar bowling alley, and my brother got in trouble because. We were all the way in the. If you're looking at the bowling alleys, we're all the way on the left side, right? We had like 4 or 5 lanes just for us because I had a good part. Like I brought everyone from my elementary school. It was my 10th birthday. It was like I want to say 3rd or 4th grade, somewhere around there. So it was like right there. It was 3rd or 4th. And I brought all my class. Everyone was there. It was a great time. And my brother got in trouble because this dumb motherfucker was literally he was walking on the side because you can walk on the side and he was like. Pushing his ball, his bowling ball down the lane to get a strike, and one of the dudes who was working there was like, "Hey, you can't do that." Blah blah blah.
I miss bowling.
When's the last time you went bowling?
I don't know. Have you been? When's the last time you've been bowling?
Honestly, it was. I want to say it was Christmas, 20. See, I was in college at the time, so it had been 2015, 2016.
I like bowling because you don't have to be sober.
Fact. I like bowling with friends. Like, I bowl with friends. Like, it's been a minute. Mini golfing.
Oh, shit. I haven't done mini golf for a long time. That looks fun right now.
There's one in,
Van Nuys.
Yeah,
there's one over here, too?
The one on, the castle. It's right off the 134 freeway before you hit the 405.
Oh yeah. That's
it's right off the resort. Van Nuys. It's a Sherman Oaks Castle or something like that. Castle something. Mm-hmm. I forget, but it's like $12 a person there, so that's pretty cheap. And if you do it in sometime, like it's like $6 a person sometimes if you do it right. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They got fucking like we grew up in like the Ontario area. So you remember Bullwinkles?
Yes. Remember the
now it's Boomers.
Do you remember the go-kart thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I grew up. I grew up the Puente Hills, dude.
Puente Hills, yeah, the mall. I grew up right there by Wilson High School, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Do you know Back to the Future was filmed on Puente
Oh, yeah, right there where the Sears parking lot is.
Yeah,
right there in the Sears parking lot. I know exactly where the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
But Patrick, let's we've been here for almost 2 hours now.
Yeah, it was
over
fun.
2 hours.
It was fun.
What is your where can we reach you? Instagram?
Well, Instagram now because I got
you got hacked. So what's your new Insta?
My new Insta is Patrick. No, it's Patty Cakes Comedy. So
that's lame. It's kind of gay.
It's Patty Paddy Cakes C8KS
C8K
C8KS comedy. I don't know, man. I just gotta. I don't know. I don't want to make it too crazy, but it comes out crazy because it has an 8 in the cakes, and I just feel that I don't know. I don't know what to do because I didn't expect to be.
Yeah. You want to shout out your IMDb?
Let me tell you, someone asked me.
Yeah.
Okay,
someone you knew.
A comic that was on that bar show.
But you know what? It's because they got hacked too.
Yes, that's what I think. So someone took over this girl who was on my show. She said the person goes, "Hey, I'm starting a business."
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want to help her.
Don't worry, I got the same shit. I got the same shit. The difference is like, I got locked out of my phone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So she said, I'm starting a business, and I'm like, I'm trying to help this girl out. She's a comic, and she wants. So I gave her the
screenshot, the fucking link.
I fell for it because I knew the girl.
You're being a friend. You're like,
but the girl is that type of girl. She has a podcast. She's starring her own little, radio station or something. She's like that type of girl.
You want to put her on blast? Like, not as like.
Well, I don't know if it's her.
The Instagram, the Instagram obviously isn't her. She got hacked. So got hacked. So do you want to put out her other shit that she hasn't got hacked on?
Well, her name is Eileen Delgado.
Oh, okay, Eileen, she's great.
Yeah. So I would never think.
I've been there.
I never would think. She's such a nice girl. I never think, and I wanted to help her because she did my show.
Yeah.
And she bring her mom because she's young, and I thought that was so cool. And I thought she was so cool. And she invited me to be on her show.
Nice.
She had a radio station. I thought she was so cool. So when she said that, I was like, okay, yeah, I'll just
whatever.
Yeah, whatever you want. I was like, I'm going to help your business. And then it was a hacker.
Yeah, no, I've been there.
So now
I've been there.
So I thought
So Patty Cakes with an 8.
With an 8. Patty Cakes with an 8. No E. Comedy. And that's my Instagram.
New Instagram. Now. What about like YouTube, Twitter? You have any other socials you want to put?
I don't know. You just go up at Patrick Bautista.
Patrick Bautista.
Bautista, Bautista. Just like the wrestler. It has nothing to do with the wrestler. We have the same name.
Honestly, I went to school with a Bautista in high school, so I know how it is.
Okay, I never run into him. I couldn't believe that a wrestler.
He was like 6'2", 300 pounds. So he's like 3 times your size.
Which I never would thought that was going to be a great actor at some point, and then now it just took over my name. But like, why would I change my name? It's just my name.
To be fair, Blaize Sanchez is my name. I ain't gonna change it for no one. But hey, Pat, once again, thank you, my man. I appreciate you.
Was it fun?
It was fun.
Yeah.
Patty Cakes with an 8. Yeah. That's my boy Pat. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Take care, y'all. Love y'all.